VCR podcast with your hosts, Vish.
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris.
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Okay, I made it work. First jitters didn't go so well. Hey guys, Adam askcsradical here, coming at you guys for the VCR podcast, and this is our first stream edition of the show, and by stream edition, you know it had to go very well because I fucked up right away and didn't even unmute myself. But everybody's good now. The podcast is saved. Everything's good. We're ready to get this show on the road. So I got, obviously, Chris with me of Jen and Chris, Views, Vishal's, aka Vish here as well. We're all here and praying to the ever-loving internet gods to just be nice for this first stream. That's all we're gonna try to do here.
That would be helpful.
We've been blessed by Madden earlier today, so it should help.
Well, I think we might be screwed by that logic then.
Yeah, we're fucked.
So this is going to be a extremely excessive show because it's not like a lot of stuff got announced in the past 7 days.
It's been a crazy non-E3 E3.
I mean, even if we take away just the PlayStation thing, the amount of games is just sheer chaos. I got a sense of the last 7 days understanding what game journalism must be like, and I didn't even write shit for anything. I just watched like demo after demo after trailer, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Is this what it's like?
I actually never got sick of it somehow, so maybe I should be a games journalist.
Well, I think in my case, it was just a matter of like, okay, I've seen this game like 4 times already this week. Like, I don't want to see you anymore. Metal Hellsinger.
Yeah, that part, that got annoying. Seeing the same games over and over. Like, 2 times is enough. If I see it a 3rd time, why?
Especially when it's mostly the same thing, too. So you're like, you're not adding that much.
Yeah, or a 3rd interview with the same developer. It's like, I get it. I already heard.
It's
what
like,
you said.
yeah, we get it. You probably paid a lot of money on your marketing team to get some shit done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this is going to be what we hope to be a 2-hour show. But anybody who's seen the VOD version of this knows that never is truly the case.
How do you spell VOD?
Fuck you.
F and then a U.
So yeah, this is obviously streaming on Twitch for the first time ever. So if you're listening to this either on YouTube or whatever audio service this is on, you'll be wondering, what the hell are these guys talking about? I mean, that's what you normally say anytime you listen to the show to begin with. It's just now there's more of a direction to it.
I say it too, and I was on the show. And when I re-listened, I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? This is so stupid. I can't wait until Wednesday night to do it again.
That's pretty much the sense that we get every time. So the goal here... Yeah. The goal here is to spend the first hour or so of this show talking about strictly all the indie stuff, all the smaller stuff, whether it was IGN Expo, Guerrilla Collective, Future Game Show, all that shit. And then we'll take a break, because now that we're doing this shit live, pee breaks are definitely much more necessary.
Yes, they are.
And then after that, we will be strictly PlayStation for the rest of the show. So, there is going to be a lot of router, air conditioner, and whatever abstract art piece talk for a little bit soon, but not quite yet. So bear with us, or if you're watching this on the VOD or the audio version, just kind of fast forward about an hour, and you'll probably get to the fun stuff. So, I figure I want to start with the one thing that I've already played, and I just figure that it's probably going to be like Chris's next game after he finishes Yakuza 0, because we're not doing an intro that we normally do, because... that would make the show 4 hours at this rate.
And it's good I didn't, because I didn't play any more Yakuza, and Adam would have killed me, so...
Well, Vish didn't watch Expanse either, so it's okay. You're safe.
Oh, this is the disappointed Adam fucking episode. That's
every episode. What are you talking about?
We have the title, Disappointed Adam.
Well, if that was the title, that would literally be every episode with like a small, like in really tiny font,
volume
like brackets.
Volume 2, Volume 3.
Volume 3? Are you kidding me? Fuck, this is episode 31. Do you think it's just 3?
It's volume 29.
That's probably close.
That's close.
But yeah,
and even then, I think I'm being generous.
We didn't mention it on last week's show because we kind of knew it was going to happen. So we just wanted to wait for Saturday on the PC Gaming Show, which we did stream on Twitch. That was our first test for a Twitch stream.
That was
that
fun,
was
where I
interesting.
showed up about halfway.
Yeah, because you apparently.
Were you guys both watching it without me?
Yeah,
we
we
told you during the show.
Yeah, you didn't show up. We messaged for like a straight day.
But
in all fairness, I was working on my backyard because I think that's the only vacation spot I'm going to have this summer.
that's probably true. But yeah, we waited for the PC gaming show because we figured it was going to be announced there, and sure enough, we were right. Persona 4, the fabled one of the best JRPGs on the PlayStation 2, is finally coming to Steam, and in fact, it already launched. It was done the day of.
After the PC Gamer Show. I love when they fucking do that. When they announce something and like,
that's
it's
the
available
best stuff at
right
E3
now.
or whatever, where they're like, and it's out now, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh
awesome.
fuck.
That is awesome. Can you imagine?
And
Be
a
like,
good price.
can you imagine if they did that with Avengers one time? You're like, the Avengers trailer. Oh, by the way, tickets are available now.
Well, no, tickets available now. It would still be like a month in advance. It would be like, it's out in theaters starting now, so the next showing is in 2 hours. You better go. And you just see this flood of people rushing to. That would be chaos.
Very dangerous.
That's a terrible idea.
There's gonna be a lot of kids being tossed aside by me.
Kids?
Oh yeah,
there'll be grown adults getting tossed aside too. Don't kid yourself.
Anybody?
Oh, you're as old as my niece. Move it.
Yeah, that's about right. But I know for Chris, he's definitely been curious about this because I mean you're a big JRPG guy too. I mean you've been a big Tales guy, Final Fantasy, all that jazz, and Persona, quite frankly, is like one of the best untapped RPGs if you're anything but a PlayStation gamer. So
everybody always talks about Persona to me because whether it's like a journalist like talking an article or someone like you, Adam, and it's surprising that I've never played a single Persona game. It's actually very surprising. So it's an understatement to say I'm excited to play this game. Spoiler alert, I will be buying it during the Steam summer sale. Sale price or not, I don't give a shit. I'm buying it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It came out at $23.99 Canadian. I'm assuming in the States it's $19.99. That's a super good.
That's a really good deal
JRPG.
for a game that's basically like the highest quality and also like legitimately one of the. Oh, sorry, I was about to say the same thing. It's basically like an all-in-one package. It's not even the default version. It's the best version.
Yeah, it's the gold edition or something. Yeah.
What I think it is that like it'll be like a Best Buy Boxing Day sale where everything's on sale during the Steam summer sale. How much of a sale it is? That depends. So I mean, this could be like it's $2 off.
I mean, Chris is the one that's taking a big risk. We're all picking up Killing for it because it's $10 right now, and Chris is like, I'm gonna wait for the sale just to see if it's a couple bucks cheaper.
There's something about the Steam summer sale, just that gamble of like maybe there's a sale. Fuck, it gets me going. Oh, I love it,
dude. That's like
Chris has a problem. Like he needs a Steam sale intervention.
No.
So
because you guys are on my Steam library. You all benefit. So fuck you.
those who are listeners that don't know, I'm a photographer. That's my day job. And I wanted to get a camera for myself just for fun, just for like shits and giggles, just for us essentially, really, as well. And I was looking everywhere for a good camera. I realized, don't buy a camera on Facebook Marketplace. It is a fucking ripoff. The way people are selling cameras there, it's
Steam. You hear it? You need to start selling cameras. Steam sale for a Nikon.
Then I'm gonna buy cameras I don't need.
Chris has a backlog of 7 cameras.
Yeah, how can I have a backlog of cameras? But I will have that backlog.
No, it's just like you think in the summertime there'd be some epic sales on cameras, but there really wasn't. And it's
that's like Black Friday now for us. That's about it.
Black Friday is the shit. I love Black Friday.
The best one for physical goods. Yeah.
Oh, dude, like Boxing Day hasn't been good ever since actually we worked at Best Buy because we realized it's a ripoff.
Yeah, it's everything that they're not going to be selling it very shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, like I'm really happy to hear that Persona 4 Golden's coming. And it makes me even more happy that the opportunity for Persona 3 FES and Persona 5, especially Persona 5 Royal, now that that's a thing, it opens up the well for a lot more stuff to be on PC, and I hope that continues with even more games, because I know that there are some things you want to stay exclusive to, and I get that part. There are some games though that I'm like, man, I wish everybody could play these because there are some games that just I think everybody should get a hold of. And there are people that don't even like JRPGs that much and still admit that Persona is a fantastic game.
Is Persona like visual style? Is it like
It's
CGI
anime.
style?
It's totally anime.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
so it's
like
like
an
it's toon shader.
No,
anime.
just straight up anime. Straight up anime.
So even when you're moving, your character's an anime character?
I mean, like PS2 anime, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If they like making this
like-
game now, they could definitely make it much more anime on, especially on the new consoles. Oh my god, I can't wait for the first like full anime game. It's like completely like because we're already seeing Pixar games, which we'll get to when we get to the PS5 stuff. But like, good lord, the possibilities are endless for that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much like full on like Japanese anime, but PS2 era graphics. So it's still like a
like
rough
3D graphics.
Yeah.
3D anime graphics. Honestly, it looks like a really, really good looking PS2 game that's been upped, had its resolution and textures and everything up to like today's standards.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that.
Well, and the beauty of
love
it
that
too is
style.
it's not just a JRPG too. That's the thing that's gotten so many people's attention. It's more than that. It's also like a school sim. It's like a relationship sim, whether it's friendship or loving relationships. Because half of the game is grinding in dungeons, and then half of it's just building relationships with friends, family members.
So this is like true RPG.
Yeah,
You're not just,
absolutely.
like-
And it lets you
So
go
it's
on
like-
your own way because you can legitimately like not. You can choose to be like fuck that guy and never talk to that person and just never get any friendship points with that character, and then just spend all your time like lauding over the one waifu you really like in the game. Like that's a thing you can do.
Can you have
Okay,
multiple waifus?
Yes, but you have to make sure that you max them out separately because if you try to do it all at the same time, they will hate you. So if you do it
Okay,
right,
this really-
like using that like 100% guide I tell you about, you can do all of them because it has you 100% them
Explain to me-
at separate points.
Explain to me like a golden retriever. What is a waifu? Because I keep hearing it, and I'm.
It's basically
kind of
like it's basically like the anime girl that you want to marry. It's
Yeah.
there's nothing
It's your
complicated
anime
about
wife.
it.
So it's Sailor Mars.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sailor
Yeah.
Mars was definitely my waifu, so yes, I agree with this 100%.
So it's Officer Jenny and Nurse Jenny.
Well, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
now that Brock's got a girlfriend, I mean, they're all fair game now. Every last one of Nurse Joy's and Officer
Brock has a
Jenny's.
girlfriend?
Yeah, in the anime, like this is a crazy thing. In the Pokemon anime, in the last like what 12 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, Brock has a girlfriend, and Ash actually won a fucking tournament. It's insane. It took him
Wow.
20. It took him what 20 years, but Brock finally got laid, and Ash finally did something.
They're like 47 now. They should have.
He still looks like he's fucking 5, but that's
Wait.
They don't
Pokemon
age in
came
the
out in here in grade 10. That was 1999.
long
Ash was
long
about
enough
10
for us
years
to
old.
realize that that's way too fucking long.
Yeah, Ash
It's
is
still the
definitely
90s.
in his early to mid 30s.
But yeah,
And Brock is, oh good God, Brock is around 50.
Yeah,
oh, good
yeah.
God.
When you look at the girl that Brock has, like if Brock was actually his own age, he is so a pedophile. or he's like the rich billionaire that like the porn star looking like a 19-year-old girl dates just for his money.
What are you talking about? Anna Cole Smith and that guy was totally love.
All right.
So you're selling me on
All right.
Pokemon again. I feel like I'm going to start watching it.
So otherwise, yeah, Persona 4 Golden. Jesus Christ, I'm so happy to see that's a thing. Chris, I'll go to
Yeah.
you. What's the first big indie game that you saw that you were really interested in? Because I have a list. I don't think we're gonna get to all of them. So like, start with the one that like is like top of the list for you.
My list is a little big. And I'm not going to talk about one because it's probably my favorite one, but I know Adam, this is one that you probably will also be talking about.
Well, fuck
So
it,
I'm gonna
let's go.
skip over
No,
that.
do it.
Fae Tactics, the one that
Fuck
you
yeah.
I think you recently played it. Yeah, it looks
I
exactly like
just like before the show recorded a demo reel for that because I'm doing one every day for the Steam Game Festival because I have a backlog of these things already set for every Tuesday. So I'm like, I'm not gonna have Fae Tactics take 3 months to come out.
no.
So these
don't
I've all
do
been
that.
doing, and I just played it. It's really interesting. Like it basically is Final Fantasy Tactics all over again. The only thing I worry about, and I said it in the video, is that all the levels they show in the demo are really short, and I hope it's not that the entire game because then it just becomes like a mobile tactics game.
Yeah,
I think they just did it like that for the demo. I think that would make sense, or even that's just maybe the tutorial first like world. I don't know.
I have a feeling it's like a lot of demos always do just the tutorial first part of the world. They don't want to spoil too much of the story or any of it really. They'll take the initial like first couple missions, but they'll throw in some characters that you don't get till later in the game without explaining who they are or anything, just to kind of give you a feel of it. That's what I've noticed with most demos. So
But
that's
yeah, it was wonderful. I loved playing through that because it was just like a blast from the past.
Yeah, I really, really want to get my hands on that. I've wanted a Final Fantasy Tactics game, like that's a pure Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, there was Fire Emblem and stuff like that, and they were the same, as, what is it, an SRPG or whatever it is, like the strategy RPG? I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's what they call it.
So
No, tactical
this
RPG.
game- so Final Fantasy Tactics and this game, they were both real-time strategy type games.
It's almost like when you're playing like a board game, like you're moving things from spot to spot, and
So it's Risk in a video game format almost.
Final Fantasy is based off of Dungeons and Dragons, like the original games from the 80s.
Okay.
All RPGs are in the sense that like attack, use an item, use magic, like that's why it was turn-based. Tactics is like if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons, but you actually have to move your character and you only can move them 6 squares and then do their action like attack or defend.
Oh,
or
okay. I always thought Final Fantasy Tactics was a real-time strategy game. Like
No, it's
StarCraft.
like-
I believe?
no, it's still turn based. It's almost like you're playing like a board game where you're moving things from grid to grid to grid to grid to grid, and then like attacking, setting up spells, and all this
But
stuff.
it's almost like it's real-time play.
No, it's still very much turn
no
based.
turn-based. Yeah,
Okay.
like you move one character and they get one move and then one action, and then you move another character, you get one move, one action, and it's kind of top down, so it kind of looks like a chessboard, maybe.
Yeah.
if you will.
That's
Yeah.
probably why I thought it was a real-time strategy game. Then
Yeah.
the visualization of it.
See, Vish is what we like to call here in the gaming sphere a filthy casual.
A filthy casual.
I am not a casual.
No.
when it comes to Japanese stuff, oh, you are totally a filthy casual.
I'm not, I full out admit when it comes to the JRPGs and most of that stuff, I'm not even casual. I'm like I'm a complete noob.
It's like I said, this first hour
knowledge-
isn't even like the indie games thing. It's the sell Vish on shit he's never heard of hour.
Yeah.
So I like with that type of stuff, I'm such a noob. It's like take the number 0 and lower it even further. That's my knowledge of it. So when I hear about stuff like Persona and Final Fantasy Tactics or Final Fantasy in general, I'm pretty stupid.
Well,
Don't worry. There's a couple games here that definitely.
I was about to say, I'll give you one right now, and this was
Yeah.
actually at the top of my list, which I also played, which will be up Friday. The video for that, Gestalt Steam and Cinder, which is basically
That
like
is a really cool title.
it is
Yeah, it
basically Castlevania if it was done by a woman with red hair, and it's fucking gorgeous.
like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
kind of
like
Castlevania.
So-
late Super Nintendo, early PlayStation.
Bayonetta.
No, like
No.
2D graphics.
No,
Like
it's
side-scrolling.
old SNES like
Yeah,
graphics
I
level.
think did you send a video of that earlier?
I
this
might
week or anything?
have.
Probably. I feel like we were sending trailers back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah, there's a
know,
lot of stuff getting thrown back and forth in the Discord.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're
unfortunately-
watching on YouTube, it's in the description, so you can join and shoot the shit with us too.
Do it. We're in there.
You
we're
you
in
can
there a
insult
lot.
us like we always do to each other.
We don't seem to sleep or
No,
something.
we
We're just
don't.
always
We
in
don't.
Discord.
But yeah,
that's,
I played that. I fucking loved it. Like, it was very short, but just challenging enough, and just looks amazing. And the only thing that I hope for is that by the time this game comes out, there's maybe some voice acting to it.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. that'd
Other than that,
definitely
like
be cool.
everything about it, the aesthetic is amazing. The gameplay was absolutely solid. It dipped a little bit on my end, but I couldn't tell if that was the demo itself or just my rig. I can't tell. My laptop's 7 years old, so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
I did see another
shouldn't
one.
be. It shouldn't be my rig considering what the graphics are, but
Alright.
There's a horrible joke in there, but it just I can't think of it. There's a horrible joke in there.
there's always a horrible joke somewhere.
yes.
But yeah,
I did see another one that I know would be right up Vishal's aisle that I've got on my list here.
Oh, which
And
one would
it's-
that is?
Yeah.
Does it have to do?
I don't
with
know
does it have to do with a movie tie-in?
Yes. Oh well, a movie series tie-in.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes, that's
Okay. Adam, what's that game called that you're talking about?
the one that I just went through. It's called Gestalt Steam and Cinder, and that's spelled
Okay, I thought
Gestalt.
you said Steam and Cinder. GES.
Gestalt, Steam and Cinder.
Gusto.
And yeah,
Cinder.
that game was ridiculous. I was surprised by how much I was going to like that game because I didn't play a lot of Castlevania or Metroidvania kind of games as a whole. And then as soon as I played this, I'm like, okay, I already like how this looks. And then just from like slashing around a couple of things and then playing the one boss in the game, I'm like, okay, no, this is definitely, if not a day one pickup, as soon as it goes on sale for even like 25% off or anything beyond that, I'm in. I gotta see how this game is.
I'm already really liking the visualization of it because I really appreciate these pixelated visual styles, especially nowadays, because they actually are adding a lot more depth into it. And frankly, it looks cool. It looks like a game, not a simulator.
Well, an underrated pro about it is that if you don't have that good a PC, you can still play these games.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
the
can
other
run
thing
this
too.
on a potato.
Thank God
from,
that these things still exist in the way that they do and in the quantity that they do, because it gives people something to do even when they don't have the kind of money to get, obviously, a GTX 1660 video card that needs to play things in 4K.
Yeah. And like you said, Adam, you'd even pick it up with a discount of 25%. That's one other great thing about all these indie games. A discount of 25% feels like I'm still going to buy this because I want to support this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be still like probably less than $20, but you're putting a fair bit of money towards somebody that, like, you know, an indie developer that you actually want to support.
Oh, absolutely.
Where when you get a AAA game from, you know, whoever it may be, you maybe want it 50%, 75% off. You don't want just 25% off, because then you're still throwing $55 at a game that probably didn't have as much love put into it.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
So I would assume then, Chris, the next.
You know what? It's female steampunk Castlevania.
Yeah, that's pretty much
exactly
it.
what they were going for. I feel like that's what the developer said in an interview.
And Chris, what's the game you're talking about?
I assume it's the Jay and Silent Bob game.
Yes,
Fuck
that is it.
Oh, okay. I saw it, and I actually did see that trailer because I think you tagged me in that.
Yeah, I said it was right up your alley.
It was interesting. I don't know.
It reminds me of Scott Pilgrim, honestly.
It was like Scott Pilgrim.
I've only seen 2 things of Kevin Smith.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care about the actual movie. It's more the game.
Yeah,
but I think it's also the source material behind it as well. Does it like?
I don't think it's going to be that much source material. It'll more just be like maybe the jokes are done in that light, but the gameplay is just silly.
So the story, which if you want to call it that, is because they have their store, the Mart, the Kmart or the Qmart or whatever the heck it is where they work. They don't work there. They just loiter outside, and a mall opened up. So that little convenience store that they stand outside and smoke in front of is closing down because all the customers are gone. They have to go to the mall to get all the customers back, but they're beating everybody up. So I don't understand how that's helping.
So,
however, that's the story.
Okay, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it would be it's an awesome idea. I think I need to appreciate it more. I think because I plan to watch a few Kevin Smith movies because I've heard Mallrats is hilarious and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is hilarious.
Yep. They're always hit and miss. Like for every one good one, he's got 2 that are pretty questionable.
So I've only seen Zach and Marie Make a Porno, which I thought was hilarious. I loved that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. And I saw Chasing Amy, and it's probably because of Ben Affleck. I wasn't a big fan, but
it's notoriously not that good.
Yeah,
I think for me it was mainly Ben Affleck.
Yeah, this game is going to be based on Clerks and Mallrats, I believe, mostly because Jay and Silent Bob are in all of those movies. Yeah, and those ones are good. Those ones are fantastic. Okay. They're kind of like they have like a more indie feel maybe to them, but they're
Clerks. Like I read the story behind how he made Clerks, and I admire that man's.
Dude, my first ever college assignment in television broadcasting was we had to do like a script piece, so we had to actually like enunciate a 90-second script, and I picked the cigarette guy speech from the first Clerks movie.
Nice. Nice, yeah. Clerks
Okay.
2 is a fantastic movie for me.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Oh, yeah, but I just figured, Vishal, you'd love that one just because it is like the Scott Pilgrim game. It's just a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
I think as a game itself, I think it'll be a shit ton of fun.
Yeah.
The one thing I loved about the Scott Pilgrim game was the source material because I know at least 2 of the 3 people here absolutely adore that movie to the point that it could be on right now and be like, and Adam just left to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's grabbing something from Scott Pilgrim.
I
very,
think
very
it's
quickly.
the
No, I don't. No, I
Yeah.
don't definitely love this movie.
Yeah, I bought the movie on iTunes after already owning the Blu-ray copy.
It's
Just
not
so I
the
could
only
have it
movie I've
digital on
ever
my phone.
watched 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it 3 times in theaters as well, and I've only ever done that for 3 movies ever.
No, I've only seen it once in theaters. But I thought the thing is, I just it was with an ex, and we just were like, I've heard this movie's pretty good. Let's watch it. I left. I'm like, that was so amazing.
I got so mad
my
that it didn't do better, but it was also, if this movie came out 5 years later, it would have done so much better because that was right around the time that Marvel started to kick in.
Yeah, it would have been.
We weren't quite in the nerdy realm. Like, the movie was ahead of its time for. Sorry, it's not ahead of its time. It just came too early for the audience that would have gone and seen it.
You're not wrong because during that time, so Iron Man and Hulk both came out in 2008. Guess how many Marvel movies came out in 2009?
0.
Yep.
Yeah, there was
Iron
a
Man-
momentary pause.
2010, that's when Iron Man 2 came out. And that was still just like,
That was it.
I wonder if they're going to make Avengers. I wonder if they're going to make Avengers. It was like, we didn't know what the hell was going on. It was just like, hey, cool, Iron Man 2. Then it's like, it wasn't until 2011, it's like, hey, they're building up to something awesome.
Yeah, because Scott Pilgrim was 2010. So if it came 5 years later, oh my god, that movie would have done so much better.
So it's one of those movies I don't think requires a sequel, but I think if it had a sequel, it would pull a Terminator 2, where the original Terminator, box office wise, was like meh. Terminator 2, on the other hand, killed it.
Yeah, I would if all of a sudden a trailer for a Scott Pilgrim 2 came out, I'd fucking cry. I'd be like, oh my god.
That's something they should release at E3 or something, or a Comic-Con, if they ever did.
Welcome to the VC podcast. Adam is still crying from the Scott Pilgrim 2 trailer. And
No. I'm still crying from me fanboying like a motherfucker on Thursday with Horizon 2. You kidding me?
Oh yeah.
I thought you just dehydrated yourself from Aloy for like the entire night.
Well, I don't really cry that much, so.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about
crying. But oh well.
Yeah.
I might have had already somebody in that spot that night, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Moving on. So speaking of things that could possibly go into a sexual innuendo, I also played this game so far, and that's the Cyanide and Happiness video game, which is a point-and-click adventure called Freak Apocalypse.
Oh my god. I have to stream that one because I love that shit.
Like, I played it, I was laughing really, really hard at one specific thing that happens in the demo. It's a pretty short demo. It takes like 10 minutes unless you like really rush it.
Yep.
And yeah, like if that's what the whole game's gonna be like, I can't wait to see what that's gonna look like, because it was super fucking stupid funny.
Well,
the Cyanide guys. Oh man.
No, because the shit they put on there is so fucking random and hilarious. Like, I don't know how they can make a video game out of it.
They just did a point and click. So basically, it's just it's like a comic. It's just a really long comic. Yeah, and the voice acting is actually pretty good too.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to do it. Point and click.
Like there's okay. I'll spoil the one thing in the demo just because I died laughing. So you start off in a school, and when you go walk into one of the rooms, one of your teachers is completely gimped up with a ball gag with BDSM stuff on the blackboard, and he quickly hits a button to send it all back around so it's a proper school setting again. So the entire time he's voice acting instead of And eventually, there's one point where you can tell even with the muffling, it totally sounds like he's telling you to fuck off.
So is it like Quagmire's house where he like presses the button and turns into a sex house?
Yes.
And then
Yes, exactly.
oh, okay. So
I don't know who the dominatrix is yet. I guess that's later on in the game.
it's a boss battle.
Oh shit!
It could be.
That would be such a South Park thing to do.
Yeah, it would.
Oh,
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, I can't say too much more about it because if you know Cyanide and Happiness, just think of them in video game form. Like that's really what it is. It's like South Park Stick of Truth, but Cyanide and Happiness instead. As far as I know, there's no battling. It's just straight up like a point and click adventure, like the old school like Secret of Monkey Island kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I got from what it looked like. Yeah,
I was watching this Instagram account, South Park clips, and my friend sent one video of that one where Cartman's like, guys, you won't believe it. I just did the funniest thing. Like, what'd you do to Butters? It's like, he was sleeping. I pulled his pants down and put his wiener in my mouth. Like, why would you do that? Like, it makes him totally gay. It's like, no, it's
like, yeah, Cartman, that's how it works.
yeah.
I don't know what kind of fucked up shit the Trey Park and Matt Stone are on, but it's just like
fucked up enough that it made you talk about blowjobs.
I know, I guess so. It was hilarious though. It was just like I was like,
I really need to start carrying a bingo card with me, just being like, Vish talks about sex.
yes.
Speaking of sex acts, I can't segue out of this. Who am I kidding? Chris, what's the next thing you got that you want to talk about?
So one that I really, really want to play, and this is actually very high in my list. It was one of the ones called Windbound.
Oh, is this the one that looked like Breath of the Wild but indie version?
Yes. I wrote Breath of the Wild clone in case I forgot, which one it was.
Windbound.
It looks Windbound. Yeah, all one word, and it looks perfect. Like I've played through Breath of the Wild, and that game was amazing. This gives the exact same feel. It even has a similar art style.
Yeah, it really does look like there are a lot of clones in the last 7 days that we've seen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
now that's a bad thing.
Character that's the lead, it seems.
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
At least it looks like you might be able to choose. We don't know.
Yeah. But it just looked so peaceful yet fun and adventurous.
For me, it looks like if Breath of the Wild style, but on GameCube.
Well, it's definitely reduced graphics because again, not everybody has a Nintendo budget.
This is an indie game, so there's only a few people that worked on it and had the money to pay for it. But it definitely looks amazing and a lot of fun to play. And I do like the art style, very much so.
No,
so
it is
what I'm very
cool. It's a cool style, and
I just hope the boats go by fast.
Yeah, if there's a fucking boat and it's gonna be slow,
oh my god, this is so Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is absolutely Breath of the Wild. But that's why I want it.
So Wind Waker.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild with a bit of Wind Waker. Yeah, so I'm definitely on board because of that.
I can't imagine why with you.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Zelda fan.
No,
I'm not a Zelda fan. There's no Zelda here.
Actually, this honestly could be a
I mean, it's going on Switch as well, so
it's pardon?
It's going to be on Switch as well, so you'll be able to have the judge. You'll just play them both next to each other.
Yeah.
Wow. It looks really great, but it definitely is it looks like a complete Zelda clone.
I mean, again, if there are things to clone, Breath of the Wild's probably one of the good things. You should do that.
Yes, please do, because it is like one of the legendary
all the things that we've seen, like the big stuff that we wanted to talk about. Fate Tactics is a Tactics Advanced clone. That's a good thing to clone. Breath of the Wild clone. That's okay. Metal Hellsinger's a Doom clone with rhythm mechanics. Yeah, that'll probably work. So like Gestalt is basically Castlevania but with a woman. So it's like those are all great things to clone. I don't have any problem with that. As long as you just do the same thing and make it good, I'm cool with that.
With Gestalt, it feels more like it's an influence rather than a clone itself.
Well, it's still very much a Symphony of the Night looking clone. They just changed the aesthetic and the that.
Yeah.
You know what also is a clone, or at least to some extent. a game called Wave Break.
Oh, that looks like Wave Race 64 or whatever.
Like the best way that I can explain it, it looks like what would happen if you took Tony Hawk Pro Skater but did it with boats.
Yeah.
To which I went, I don't know how this is going to work, but I gotta see that.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of fun. It looked like Tony Hawk mixed with Wave Race from Nintendo 64.
It was
which is when they were
weird.
on jet skis and going around.
Oh, this looks like fun.
Yeah, I was legitimately like,
Oh
this
my
looks
God,
this looks
totally
stupid. I
Tony
love
Hawk
it.
Wave Race.
Like
Yeah,
that's
I definitely want to play that.
It looks like there's
A
more
little
than
bit of-
just the trick stuff. It looks like there might actually be like battle stuff in there too. So it's not just that. But I mean,
Yep.
all they had to do was show Tony Hawk stuff with boats, and I went, okay, that looks fun as shit.
And the characters are ridiculously adorable.
Of course.
Yeah, they're all animals, right? If
Yeah,
I think
there's
so.
A bear there's a bear who's like totally Miami Vice pimped out right now.
Fuck yeah.
Isn't that how bears are though? I feel like that's
Yeah,
just a
aren't-
bear.
Isn't that how it is?
Oh, First on Stadia though.
Ah,
No, that's
Yeah.
I'll wait
it's
for it to
okay.
come out on
That'll
any other
change.
platform.
Yeah, no, I see a lot of Diddy Kong Racing, Tony Hawk, and like you said, Wave Rider and
Yeah.
64 on there. So it's a lot of really amalgamation of a few entities on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Oh, yeah.
another small one that I also took a look at that I know we have to play when that comes out is a game called Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Which
Oh,
I don't remember that one.
which basically, if you guys remember on Spike TV way back in the day, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge,
Yes.
it looks basically like that in a video game.
Wow. That I'm excited. I would
Fall
have to play that.
Guys. Oh wait, this is behind the scenes. Let me find
Yeah, there's
Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout.
and like the first time I saw, because I think it came on PS4 State of Play a while back, and then another trailer showed up for it here during the last 7 days, and it just reaffirms like this looks like a stupid fun game, like just
So
straight
it
up.
looks like it's a bunch of guys running through walls right now.
Yeah, it's like that MXC game where you have to pick the right door, otherwise you don't go through it. You just slam into a wall.
Yeah. Oh god, I missed that show. Yeah, I have to play this game just because of that.
And again,
I mean,
it
it
looks,
sounds
it
like a
looks
lot of
like a
fun.
game that we could play with like a bunch of people, whether we had fans or we just go into a random lobby and just try to somehow not be last place.
Yeah. How many people can play all at the same time?
I'm not
and stuff?
sure. The way that the demo makes it look like could be like a lot.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it could be like
Oh, man,
Fortnite
there's-
size in terms of player count.
If they have an online thing, they could be
Oh,
like.
it
100
absolutely
almost.
will be online. There's no way it wouldn't
Yeah.
be. What are you gonna have?
Yeah.
30
So-
people in the same room?
No, but I'm
All with their own
wondering,
controller.
What happens is that the way I'm looking at it is like if you go into a door that doesn't open, you're stuck. You're done.
No, you just keep going. You just fall over and you lose time.
Oh, okay.
Like, do you remember Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, like the TV show?
No, I do not.
Oh shit, we
Really?
should show him
Oh,
we should
man.
show him episodes of that.
Yeah.
This reminds me of this one Japanese show called Hole in the Wall.
Well, it's something similar to
shit
that.
was hilarious.
There
to
was
watch.
a show in Japan called Takeshi's Castle, and Spike TV got the rights to the footage, and then they dubbed over it with like the most blatantly like not translated properly things. So like,
Oh,
there's
it was
literally an
good.
episode where they name the teams off of stupid things. Like one of them called the Meat Packers. So it's just endless dick jokes.
Yeah.
How hilarious was it?
Like
Very.
I watched old episodes with my friends like earlier this year, and we were dying laughing at it because it's like Jackass mixed with like horrible Japanese dubbing. Because guys are getting like
Yeah.
fucked up, like they're getting knocked over with these giant like paper mache boulders. They're like falling into like these pools of water when they're trying to stay afloat on things. It's just funny shit. And then with the horrible dubbing that they put over it, it just makes it so much funnier.
Yeah. It is a
Yeah,
really, really fun show.
This game does look like it's a lot of fun. But I feel like this is a game you definitely. I don't know. This could be played very casually, just for fun.
Oh yeah, I could definitely just pop
Yeah,
into
or-
it, play a couple of rounds, and just be okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another thing on my radar. So that was two quick ones. What do you got next, Chris?
I saw one that was kind of ridiculous, and I loved how ridiculous it was, and that was Fight Crab. Did you see that one?
The
boy, I gotta
the
see
fucking
this.
the one where it just looks like it's like one of those weird like physics based games.
Yes, and everybody is a crab, but has weapons in their hands, and you just battle each other to try and make the other person fall over on their back, and then hopefully they can't recover
they can't
within
get up
3
or
seconds.
whatever.
Yeah, then they
It's
can't get up.
almost a fighting physics game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like it'd be one of those things where like the mouse controls one thing, the keys control one thing, because it looks like you're really horribly waving your weapons around. So it looks like
Yeah,
it's
or-
one of those intentionally like bad controlling games that is just a riot trying to do stuff, like say a gang beast, a human fall
This-
flat, like stuff like that.
This
Yeah.
would be absolutely golden for PlayStation. What's the Move one called?
Oh, VR, like the move sticks, like with
Oh,
the VR.
PlayStation Move.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be golden for PlayStation.
No, that wouldn't be because you'd be accurate. That's no. I don't.
Yeah.
The point is to be
Yeah, you gotta
terrible
be-
at this.
Yeah, the whole point is that you like hold down the R trigger and then use the right joystick to control for your right hand only, and it's like all over the place. And hold the left trigger with the left.
You're not
joystick
meant to
move
be
your left
amazing
hand.
at this game. You're meant to just
Yeah,
try
no.
to survive and like it's like whenever we try to play Smash and none of us know what we're doing, we're just hitting buttons.
So I can see this game being a lot of fun, but I can also see this game as a lot of people just rage quit. Like
I don't think it'll
they-
be rage quit. This is straight up a streamer game. Like 100% this is
Yeah.
meant to be for streamers and YouTubers.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one's going into this taking it seriously. Like,
No.
if you lose, it's because the game is ridiculous and you're gonna lose. Like, that's just how it is. But I saw that and I was like, it reminded me of that one E3 where I can't even remember what game it was, but they were like, oh, we tried to make it as authentic for 1800s Japan, and then all of a sudden they're like, and giant crabs, and then
Oh, so Tsushima? Oh, never mind.
no, this is years ago. And I just saw these giant crabs, and I was like, "This game is a meme already. Like, it's just memed itself, and it's perfect. I have to play."
Speaking of meme games, there's a game called Boyfriend Dungeon.
Yes, and I want to play it. Except I want to have multiple options for who I get to date.
So basically,
just want
it's
the
a
guy with
dungeon
no shirt on.
crawler where you collect weapons and the weapons turn into really hunky guys. So it's another one of those like weird dating sim games within another game that just ends up being way off the deep end.
On Switch?
Oh, I mean it's going to be on a lot of things. I think the Switch trailer is just probably the easiest accessible one. But yeah, like you can literally get a lightsaber and he turns into a really hot like feminine looking guy with blue hair. I never wanted to I've never wanted
who's
to
on this TV right now.
I have never wanted to fuck a lightsaber until now.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept. It's like you get a weapon and you use it in the dungeon, but then when you leave the dungeon, that sword or whatever turns into your boyfriend, and now you have to date. And it's like,
I think there's another game that was announced too where it's like something about, I think it's like Man's Best Friend or something, where you try to like you have your own dog and you try to befriend other dogs, you can pet other people's dogs, and through that you end up finding people to date. And I'm just like, that's the most like accurate dating sim possible. You just bond
yeah, that
over
one's
each
actually
other's
just
dogs.
accurate. They just took the concept of having a dog picture on Tinder.
That's the game our friend Brittany needs to have.
Yes.
Oh
that
god,
is
Brittany
definitely a
would
Brittany
love
Bitch game.
to show that one.
But yeah, I saw
hope they make a
Boyfriend Dungeon.
Girlfriend Dungeon.
It's so stupid, like a lot of other things that we've seen, that it's like, that's so stupid, it's going to work flawlessly.
Yep. Yes. 100%. Yeah.
You got any more meme-worthy stuff?
I have one that I think I'm going to be one of the only people out of this group, that wants to play, and it was called Solasta,
How do you spell
and
that?
it's Solasta, and it is the most Dungeons and Dragons accurate game I've seen, even more so than the
Crown of the
Dungeons and
Magister,
Dragons
right?
game. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about now.
Yeah, because they actually got the legal rights from Wizards of the Coast to use Dungeons and Dragons. I can't remember if it was like edition 3.5 or 5 or something like that. But they're actually using if you were to take playing Dungeons and Dragons as a group, but taking it online and playing with real characters.
I'm
but
glad
they
that you
move
pointed
just
that out
like-
because I need to send that to my friends because they would love to be able to do that too.
Yes,
Because there's a group I know that are like core D&D, like that's their big thing. So this would be something they definitely love.
Shane, our buddy, he's really big into D&D. Like he'll actually go to like small indie events, like at local game stores to play, which actually sounds like a fun idea if you're just playing for fun, not the way Chris and I had to play it.
Yeah.
This actually doesn't look terrible. Like it looks very.
Well, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, this is definitely out of my realm, but the people that this is for are probably like fanboying the shit out of it.
Yeah, I saw it and I instantly wishlisted it instantly on Steam. Like I have to.
Stiff, I find.
Well, I don't think it's meant to be like a really good controlling game. It's meant to be D&D in a video game form.
Yeah, because again, like you tell your character to move, they get one move, and then they'll do one attack. So it's meant to feel like they're moving like the tabletop game, compared to moving like just a normal video game character where you use the joystick or whatever. So it actually felt like I was like, that game looks to me more like a tabletop, like real game that we would play on the table, just brought to video game life.
Which I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot of real good attempts to do it, because it seems like a foolproof thing to do, especially now with COVID going on. People would love to be able to play D&D without having to like, not have to go anywhere.
A group. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
that will scratch an itch that I have.
Sorry, what was that, Vish?
Most of them are not leaving the basement, though.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You take the basement to everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was excited for that game just because I like D&D, and I've never been able to play a really good version with people, because as Vishal said, we've always run into issues, but with the people we're playing and stuff. So it'll be nice to actually be able to just go and play with other people or myself right online or in the game or whatever. So
yeah,
it'll help me scratch that itch.
There's a couple of small JRPGs I wanted to talk. Well, maybe not JRPGs, but at least RPGs in a sense. The first one that got my attention was a game called Jack Move, which kind of looked like a hacker JRPG. Which was very interesting. I just like the way that the battle screen was set up, because it kind of reminds me a little bit of like old school like Phantasy Star, like where it's like really zoomed out, so you see the people like way up there and they're all posed like they're ready to fight, like good old school like Breath of Fire, Phantasy Star, like those realms.
Yeah.
And just again, looks like a very basic indie game. Looks like it'd be pretty cheap, like maybe $10-15 bucks.
It's like Super Nintendo visuals, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Ooh, how did I miss that? I must have blinked or something.
It was we've had like 10 hours of like 250 games. So
yeah, there was a lot of games, and I probably went to the washroom and made a sandwich or something.
Adam's appeal for it, but even for like the Super Nintendo style, it looks dated.
This thing? No, I disagree with that.
Yeah. Animation looks smooth, but I mean like the visualization essentially looks a little dated in my opinion.
Well, you didn't play a lot of JRPGs on Super Nintendo then.
No, I didn't. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, dude.
Well then, shut the fuck up.
There you go. That explains it.
The other one that had my attention, which I thought looked really goddamn cool, was Star Renegades.
Oh, this.
What are these games? How did I miss these? What day did I miss?
This thing came up like 3 times. I don't know how you missed this one.
Huh. All right. Well, what does it look like?
This one is basically cyberpunk JRPG, to which I said, "Fuck yeah!" Me and my I'm on the big cyberpunk kick right now. Oh my god! I saw Super Nintendo cyberpunk JRPG, and I just went, I can't get this any sooner, can I?
I'm sorry. What is this called again?
Star Renegades.
This looks like it's got a very Gundam style to it.
Oh, it's definitely like super like sci-fi cyberpunk level shit.
Yeah, like Gundam, I'm looking at it, like, there's a girl, okay, this looks really cool, this looks fun.
Because, like, it definitely, like, the Videlli, too, it's very similar to, like, what Gestalt looks like in terms of the graphic looks, so it's got that definitely, like, pixelated vibe to it.
So, there's a girl who has, like, almost like a gigantic Iron Man type costume, right?
Yes. I mean, if you're looking at the cinematic trailer like I am, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wishlisted. Holy crap. How did I miss that one?
I mean, again, there's like 2,000 games announced, so. I mean, when I looked through all the demos for when I was playing or setting up my library for all the Steam demos I was going to play for this Summer Game Festival, I kept scrolling just to find the ones I liked, and then realized really quickly I can only pick the ones that I really want to play, because if I pick what just based on what I think looks cool, I'll never get to anything. Because on the 16th, I'm pretty sure like 300 demos got put on in one day.
Okay,
There's
yeah,
over
this
900 now.
Oh, jeez.
This looks cool. Like there's like it's very Super Nintendo-esque, but they have a lot of depth to it. Like there's like almost like a Matrix
Yeah.
camera move. Like it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean,
is
there's a couple other. Oh, sorry.
mechanics, right?
What's that?
It's turn-based mechanics,
I would assume.
like battle.
I would assume. I don't think it's.
That's
a
what it
beat
looks
'em up.
like. Yeah.
Otherwise, in terms of other things, I mean, there were a couple of small things like arena shooters and stuff. There was Quantum League, which looked kind of interesting, but it looked like a bare bones like Overwatch. There was Hyper Brawl Tournament that looked like Rocket League, but more of like a battle top-down scenario.
Yep.
There was Ghost Runner, which I've already talked about, which is basically a first-person like ninja thing, like Space Ninja.
Yes. Yes, I remember that one.
Wait,
There
Hyper
was.
Brawl. We saw that one on the. Was that not on the PS3, PS5?
I don't
Reveal?
think that one. No, that's something else. That's a different one. There was Nighthawks, the vampire RPG, which I only got interested in because the graphics look cool and one of the characters looked a lot like Tim Curry.
Nighthawk?
Yes, you did look like Tim Curry. Now that I think of it. Yeah.
Nighthawks trailer.
There was Game Deck, which looked like a Cyberpunk Sherlock Holmes game, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yes,
there was,
that
was
did
that-
look quite
Is
interesting.
that a game called Nighthawks? or
yes,
Nighthawk?
Nighthawks. There was also
multiple-
Like multiple, yeah.
yes, plural. Otherwise, yeah, the only other two things I got here was Dustborn, which looked like a beat 'em up in a comic book, like a literal comic book, like the fighting screens look like it's within a comic.
Yeah.
That looked cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the last thing that grabbed my attention was Operation Tango, which looks like a two-player co-op game where one person is a secret agent and one person's the hacker trying to get them through stuff, which I thought looked like an interesting concept.
Yeah, that does.
But in terms of all the big stuff, I mean, other than that, I mean, there was the read-only memory sequel, Neurodiver, which I just went, yes!
Yeah, I've only got a couple others that we didn't mention. At least I don't think we mentioned. I've got one that was Drive-By. but
Yeah,
I
the
think
one that looks
I-
like a sort of like a Twisted Metal sort of game,
Twisted
but
Metal.
like cartoony.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a cartoony Twisted Metal. So I kind of like that idea because it's been a long time since we've had a Twisted Metal game. And then there was West of Dead, where you look like you're a Ghost Rider character walking around in a comic book Western, but it's hell, I think.
Yeah.
And the main character is voiced by Ron Perlman.
Fuck yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I thought that looked really, really cool. And that comes out in like a week or something like
Yeah,
that.
by
Like,
the
it's out
time
really
all
soon.
this was done, my wish list on Steam was like 14 games. I'm now at 42.
I'm at almost 500 because of this, though I already had like 400 on there.
Yeah.
The only other game, there was one that caught my attention because it's so ridiculous. It's called Say No More. It's a saying no simulator. So you're like in the
Yep.
office and people come up to you and they're like, "Can you do this?" No. And when you say no, they like, "What happened?" And then like you go and you run into somebody, you have to say no and say no. And eventually people start getting like knocked over and stuff as you say no.
Yeah, it
And
looks,
the
it looks stupid as shit, but it's like the funny kind of stupid.
Yeah, and then the developers like, if we can release whenever we like, if we can pull it off, we want to release on November 9 because no from November, and in German no is 9, so
Yep.
November 9th. I was like, man, these guys know exactly what they're going for.
It'd be
such
like
a
it'd be
niche
like
little
if
game.
Snoop Dogg put out a game and he
amazing.
didn't put it on April 20th. That'd be a failure.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Vishal, what were you saying?
That's just amazing the way they're doing it. No.
Yeah, just no.
Oh, it's
no.
smart marketing too.
Yeah, and the game looks just ridiculous. Bigger games, I was excited for Star Wars Squadron, the trailer. I've wanted a Star Wars like space fighter for a while. I don't know how it's gonna be.
I imagine we'll
But-
probably hear more tomorrow when EA does their EA Play.
I am telling you, once you get to play Fallen Order, it's literally the greatest thing that's in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that because of how EA tackled that one, because I don't know if it's the same developers doing Squadron.
I couldn't tell you. I probably
either way,
not.
hopefully they keep up the quality with Squadron, because I would love to play like a 5-on-5 just dogfight.
Well, EA currently seems to be on a we're not being assholes like kick right now. So, because apparently from what I heard, they also been working with PlayStation for the last year to actually do really good things for the black gaming community. So it seems like EA is actually on a stint right now where they're trying to actually, not be dicks, which is strange.
I mean, they've added everything on the
better because with the sports games, there's a huge minority community that plays only sports games.
Oh, don't worry. Madden 21 got announced, so we're good.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Did anyone mention that yet?
I tried not to.
All right.
Yeah.
But honestly, like they got to do, because EA in general in the gaming community, everyone fucking hates them. So they got to do something at least.
Pretty sure a motorcycle just came by on my end because somebody's an asshole outside my building.
Oh, I couldn't hear it, so it's probably fine.
Oh, if it was as loud as it was here, there's no way my mic didn't catch it.
So if Adam heard it, the mic heard it. That's basically how it works.
Oh well, all you had to hear was asshole. Tiny penis. Otherwise, does anybody else have anything else to add, or is that it for pretty much our list?
I got nothing to add for this.
Oh, don't worry, you'll have a lot more to say, I think, in the next hour.
I guess I have two real quick things to say.
Yeah, go right ahead.
One, System Shock, the remaster that's coming out.
Yep.
I'm very excited for that because I never played the original, and that was the original. I think it was either inspired BioShock or the developers of that.
Yeah, it was definitely BioShock. Inspiring it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to play that because I love the BioShock universe. So, and the way that one looked, I was like, "Holy fuck!" That.
Oh, is System Shock a side story of the BioShock?
No. It came long before.
Yeah, it's way before like 90s. But they're remastering it with current first-person shooter graphics.
They have nothing to do with each other. BioShock was influenced by System Shock back in the day. So
I think some developers from System Shock ended up working at the company that did BioShock. So it's like one of those spiritual successor kind of things. There's no connection, but it's like there's a small connection through the developers. And then the only other game actually got announced this morning where I lost my shit, and that was Pokemon Snap coming out to Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I sent like everybody I knew got like a quick text, like, just so you know, Pokemon Snap's coming back.
I'm amazed it took them this long, to be honest. I'm surprised.
I am too.
Like you would think when they had the DS for so long.
You got a chance to earlier this morning.
What's sorry?
Adam's brother mentioned it, or before you had a chance to mention it earlier this morning.
Yeah. He was definitely checking the newsfeed before I was.
As soon as I thought. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought that the direct was at 12 because I saw it as 9 a.m. I thought it was 9 a.m. Pacific time, so I put it in my calendar as noon. And then it turns out the Pokemon Direct was at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And I was like, fuck.
Hey, Japan ain't got to wait for you.
So I'm looking at System Shock. It looks cool, but it looks like a standard first-person shooter.
Yeah, it is from the 90s before first-person shooters were very, very popular. So it's one of the OG first-person shooters.
Yeah.
It's like a space version of Left 4 Dead that I'm looking at, like quality-wise.
It's going to be a lot like a BioShock game. I don't know if you've played any of them.
I tried to, but I never did.
I mean, speaking of quality, Vish's camera on my feed. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's frozen for me.
It's so far behind. Give me the old refresh. I mean, we're actually we might as well go to commercial anyway because we're gonna take a break for about 5-10 minutes.
We need more.
Not that these 0 people watching the stream are gonna care that much, but we're gonna take a moment just to kind of get our wits about, open up another drink, maybe take like 5 pisses because Lord knows we always seem to take one every show.
Yes.
So yeah, we will be back in a couple of minutes, although if you're watching this on VOD, you don't know shit. But we will be right back here, and we will be talking exclusively about all the PlayStation stuff.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, we will be going about PlayStation stuff as soon as we get back. Don't go anywhere. And we're back here on the VCR podcast. So we had nothing else to talk about. So I think the show's over, right? There's nothing else major that happened.
There's this.
Night, everybody.
I think there was like a PlayStation thing
What?
that was
No.
going on.
No.
No.
No,
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Like there's nothing.
Can you Google it? Because I think I may have gotten the dates wrong.
PlayStation 5. No, I don't see anything.
Are you sure?
Wait. Oh, I think PlayStation router. Oh, that thing. Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh, it was about the router system, right?
Has anybody ever seen that funny like Japanese commercial or Korean commercial where it's like a guy trying to get a PS4 in his house, but his wife would never let him, so he tries to get his like buddy to play it off like it's a router. So it's just this whole thing where it's like here it is, your router's all good, and the wife goes, wait, that's really big for a router, and it's like, no, routers these days, like it does all the bits, so it needs to be that big. And then eventually the kid comes home, it's like, oh, Dad, you got a PS4? Yes, the new router model PS4.
Yeah, I've seen that. I love it.
It's
so good.
It's so funny. That one's fucking great.
It's amazing. Yeah, there has been a lot of memes and stuff going around too ever since the PS4.
There have been some good ones. There have definitely been some good ones.
Literally could have been like, it could have been the most basic thing, like the Xbox One X.
No. The Xbox Series X is a fridge. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a mini fridge.
Yeah, that's a mini fridge.
You're basically choosing between a mini fridge and a router. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
Shit,
at least the router looks flashy.
Dude, what are you choosing, router or mini fridge?
Oh, I'm fucking choosing the router. I don't need a mini fridge. I have a normal fridge.
Oh, I knew you're not. I know you're not going to choose a mini fridge, Chris.
Oh, I would go with the router. If we're talking PS5 and Xbox. If I actually had to pick one.
Not to mention, let's be honest, you already have a fridge, so if you're going to have a mini fridge or a router, you might want the router because you kind of want internet.
I already have a router, though, so I don't need another router.
But you see the size, that's going to be a good router.
You know what? I won't buy either, and I'll buy a PS5 instead.
All right, fine. You talked me into it.
My favorite meme...
Fine.
I will mention just one meme. I know we won't go into many, but there's a Hell's Kitchen episode with Gordon Ramsay.
Yep.
And it goes, "What are you?" And he's holding 2 napkins or something onto a girl's face. And she says like a shit sandwich or something in the show.
Normally it's an idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich, yeah. So it's like, what are you? And she's like, an idiot sandwich. But it's like, what? It's the exact same thing, only it goes, what are you? And she goes, a PS5, because she's got the 2.
My favorite one was that they put Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh's head over top of it and just kind of brushed up a little bit so it looked like his jacket popping up.
Yeah, that one also looked legit.
The one that I really didn't like was that everybody for about 2 days straight posted the same Christian Bale picture with the words, "But does it come in black?"
I didn't see that one.
For 2 days on Reddit, I kept seeing this fucking meme, and I'm like, guys, not everything has to be a black box. By the way, it technically does come in black, but the flaps are white, so you still got a black box. So shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So I think no matter what happened, the design could have been as basic or as flashy. Bitches be crazy. People are going to complain about it. And also, memes are inevitable.
I don't have a problem with memes. The problem that I have is with the people that are actually being serious and saying, you better offer me a black one or I'm not buying it. To which I say, fine, we don't fucking need you.
Yeah.
If you're if you are that specific about your console that if it's not black, you can't buy it, then I'm sorry, this community isn't for you.
That is the epitome of fucking first world problems.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
like, just buy a
for the one time that a console finally tried to do something interesting, because every console reveal in our entire history, except for the GameCube, which was weird.
True.
Every other design is rectangle and some shade of black or gray.
Yeah, They're VCRs or DVD
So
players.
for once we get
Heyo.
something different and we all go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. No shit. If you're used to seeing a brick for
So,
20 years, anything looks stupid, doesn't it?
That you bring up, I was gonna mention that you bring up the GameCube. Before it was finalized as the GameCube, it was rumored to be the Nintendo Dolphin. And if you remember the prototypes, the design for that, it was weird, but it was so fucking cool though.
Well, the thing is that a lot of these things, especially when it comes to like dev kits and stuff, they're never the final thing. It's always something that they throw to developers. Like everybody thought that V-shaped dev kit was going to be the console. I'm like, guys, you're fucking retarded if you think
I
that's what they're
wish it
doing.
was. I could spell my name with that.
Yeah, no, you're not
That's true.
special. Go away.
Your
No,
name's
I was
Five?
gonna fucking spell my name started with a V. I could have fucking done it.
Nope.
And you
But I thought your
couldn't
name
have.
started with the Roman numeral for 5.
I mean, technically, the console still has a bit of a V shape anyway
Yes,
with the flaps.
you are right.
So you still technically get a V. But no, like
I was
I don't know, like it just I guess everybody does like to complain about stuff, but I think with the vitriol that I saw and with some people that just wouldn't stop, I'm like, okay, guys, posting once about it is one thing, but literally spending days just constantly like reaming that shit in, it's like, guys, either say you're gonna buy it or fucking like go away, like stop.
yeah.
Like, you're going to buy this thing. Like, if you care that much, you're still going to buy it. Let's not kid ourselves. You're not going to
I was
Xbox for the mini fridge.
Listen. The thing is, though, it's just it's human nature. People just want a reason to get angry.
I understand
regardless of
that,
how
but that also means that I get
petty
the chance to
fucking
also
reason
call
it
them
is.
out for being a bunch of fucking morons.
Yeah.
That is
It
the
is
beauty
stupid. The
of
people
human
that are
life.
quiet.
You have the ability to be a dumbass, and I have the ability to call you out.
And like, there's gonna be people who make skins. Like, I would be
That's the
interested in
thing,
finding
too.
like a matte black one. because
Apparently,
I
the
like
flaps are
matte.
detachable from what I hear. That's easily customizable.
Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool.
that would be cool.
I mean, the
one thing
flaps
that
would have to
surprised
be
me-
detachable because the vents are in that fucking black section, so...
The one thing that I thought was interesting is the official pictures of it on its side. The disk drive was on the bottom part of it.
Yeah.
I'm so used to the disk drive being on the top and to the right.
I'm actually
And it's literally
surprised that
the
it's
bottom
never
part.
been like that, because to me it makes more sense of being that low because you would be reaching lower than reaching higher.
Despite so the one thing I actually just was noticed I was thinking about today was that the disc version and the discless version. So one thing I was noticing about it was with the discless version, that's gonna be more money for Sony themselves. Because I was thinking
yeah,
about
they'll-
when I bought
Yeah, I think normally when it's
bought-
like a physical copy, I think they lose like $15 to the retailer.
Yeah.
It's not just that. So when I was buying, I was thinking about when I bought Fallen Order, it was at the time where it was not coming on sale at all, but I managed to buy it for $45. So essentially, Sony lost money from me because I was able to buy a physical copy used for a significantly lower price, even lower than what it's available for right now when you have
Or
tax
even if
included and
you paid
everything.
double, it wouldn't have mattered because all your money went to another person, not even the
Yeah.
retailer or Sony.
Yeah, but with digital copies, you can't transfer them or sell them to anybody else. That's yours. That's like only you can get that. So you cannot.
There
Even.
might actually be workarounds. I mean, Xbox has been working on it from what I understand. Steam has slowly been doing things with like refundabilities and being able to share it with friends. So I think there might be new ways around it, but
Yeah, I
With
think they're
all
going
of
to
us, we're sharing our Steam library. So
well, no, but what I mean is like I think
I
you
understand
might
what
be
you're
able to.
saying.
There might be the chance that like they'll say, hey, if you get the digital only edition, we'll give you specifically to that console the ability to take one copy of this game and transfer it to a friend that's on your thing. They may do something like that. There also may actually
maybe.
be resale value. Like I've heard rumors that like console companies, especially when they're thinking about going digital, have entertained the possibility of you just being able to permanently delete a game from your system and get some value back in credit for their store.
That would be super cool. I was just thinking that. Like,
That
what
would
if you
be
Like if you straight up
amazing.
like knew that you were never going to play this game again, and they could say, "Hey, okay, you know, just delete this game permanently. You'll have to rebuy it if you want it. We'll give you $10 for it. Or like, let's say it's a percentage. Like, just automatically, it's like, say it's 20%.
Yeah.
Because, for example, a game that's 100 hours, like, let's just say, I'll use Witcher 3 as an example, even though I've never played it, but you guys have. When you finish it, after all those hundreds of hours or 100 hours you put into it, is there a chance you're going to play it again? Probably not.
No, but generally speaking, if it's something worth that, I keep the copy on that principle. There are games that I will keep forever because if I like it that much, even if I'll never play it again, I want it to be there as like a monument to a game that I love that much.
Yeah, it's like a trophy at the end.
Yeah, people do that with books. Like they will keep their books as a trophy. They're like, I finished this book. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I finished this book. I would never get
a book. Like, yeah, but that'd be super cool. Imagine buying like a PS5 game, and then when you're done with it, you're allowed one transfer to somebody. So like I could buy a game and I'm done with it. I'm like, that was fun. I'm never gonna play it again. And then Adam or Vishal,
you could permanently transfer it.
Yeah, and you're allowed one permanent transfer. That'd be fucking cool. That would be really cool. Like not like the game can keep getting transferred and transferred.
Yeah, like it would
like
say,
it's a one.
like basically the format I would assume would have to work like this. Okay, I played The Witcher 3. I'm done with The Witcher 3. I know Chris really wants to play Witcher 3. So I'll give him this copy. Now it permanently deletes this from my console and it goes to him and that transfer license is taken off of that game so it can't change hands ever again.
Yeah,
but it means you get the game for free and it cannot be given to anybody else. So it eliminates the possibility of it ever being used anywhere else.
Yeah, and that would be good for game trading because it's like if we both have a game we don't want anymore, well then we trade to each other. And
yeah, if it's
cool.
Like if I like or somehow you end up getting an extra copy or something or whatever, like straight up, or like it's really on sale and your friend's like away and can't find it, you just buy an extra copy. Because by the way, you should be able to gift games in PS5. I hope to God they do that with the storefront. We mentioned that. No, you can't do that right now on PS4.
You can do that on
sorry. For example, I love Resident Evil, so if I was to play Resident Evil, I would probably gift it to Chris. But Adam, you're not a horror game fan at all, so you probably would never touch Resident Evil.
I mean, it depends. If it's Resident Evil 2 or 3, I probably would, just because they seem to be a little more arcadey now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I played the RE3 demo, and I didn't mind it. So
I think you would really like RE3. RE2, I'm not entirely sure about. RE3 was a pure action
I know game. I'm not touching 7 or 8 because those things look like pure horror games, and fuck that shit.
Fuck that. Fuck that. That looks terrifying. I've seen too many clips from 7, especially people wearing the VR headset and it shows what they experience. Fuck that.
Yep.
Oh,
fuck that.
The
Right
VR headset just seems like a bad idea. I only want to play that game because it seems like it's going to be Chris Redfield's swan song.
So we'll get back to the console in a minute. I didn't intend to start on talking about memes and the design for a while here. I want to go through the games first, and then we'll finish off with the console itself. For me, obviously, the first thing is to talk about Horizon 2, which was the last game they showed, and yeah, if any, like, you guys can watch on the YouTube channel as well, my reaction, or our reactions to the whole event. As soon as Horizon started, I knew right away what it was, and I just went to full fangirl mode, like just being like,
Adam needed to drink 8 liters of water the next day.
No, I just needed like several changes of pants.
Nah.
Really? Pants? I figured you just... I'm surprised.
He was commander.
I don't want people to know that all I do is wear thongs on the show, okay?
Yeah, I thought that's the thing. Why are you always playing the thong song before we start our stream to get us pumped? I thought that's why.
Sorry. Somebody's got to shake their ass on the show. But yeah, that was a game that I just looked at and went, holy shit. And I know it was cinematic. But...
some of it was definitely gameplay.
No, it was not. I can tell you for a fact there's no way any of that was gameplay.
I don't remember any
The swimming, you don't think it was gameplay?
No, it was not. That was definitely cinematic.
It may have been gameplay in the sense like it was a transition, like when you're swimming and then all of a sudden it goes to.
I don't think at any point it transferred to gameplay. It might have been like near transition in like a cutscene, but I don't think we ever saw any actual game. I think we just saw cutscenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it still looks incredible. The new monster types like the giant tortoise rock, And like you said, the underwater stuff, I just looked at and went, holy goddamn shit, am I ready for this? And the fact, too, that it's now, because apparently it's always been based in the US. The first game was based in Colorado, up in the mountains. And now this one is definitely San Francisco. Like, without question, San Francisco.
It looks like it's full of California.
No, it's straight up San Francisco. Like, all the things they show off are legitimate things in the city. So it seems like you're basically taking place in the entire area of San Francisco after all this shit's gone on.
So don't reveal too much to me, but
everybody died.
No.
I mean, I'm like 99% factually correct by that, by the way.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Well, I mean, so you look at the dilapidated buildings.
Did the original game finish off to the point where a sequel was?
Oh, absolutely.
Inevitable.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have a whole new villain by the time the game's over, so you have something to fight for.
Okay, because when I was playing The Last of Us, that game could have ended like that. Like
Last of Us had a definite definitive one. No, Horizon definitely made it pretty clear that this was going to be a franchise.
Okay,
as it should be.
Yeah. I was surprised with that one so that game's not coming out till 2021.
I would imagine it'll probably like a March 2021 though.
Yeah. And they showed a lot of that game. And then there's the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and that one is coming out, which it seems like it's a launch title. Or it's at least holiday 2020.
Yeah, and it seems like I think it's because it's also a smaller game, so it'll be easier for them to actually like complete in time. I'm pretty sure they've been working on this as soon as Spider-Man was done production, so.
Yeah, and they've probably been working on Horizon since that other game finished too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering with Spider-Man if it's like they're talking about like it's an expansion, not a direct sequel.
They've pulled it back. Insomniac has come out themselves and said it's a standalone game.
Yeah.
My suspicion says it's both. My suspicion is that it will be like if a full game in the US is $60, it's probably a $40 game that'll be basically they're probably using the engine and maybe some assets, and then just making like probably a game that's maybe 75% the length of the original.
Yeah. So the Uncharted game Lost Legacy?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I saw one interview with somebody from Insomniac, and they said it's a lot like that game. So if you've ever played that where it's its own standalone, but it's like $40 and shorter, that is what to expect.
So don't buy that game until it's $20 then.
Well, no, that's not true. Miles Morales, I would buy at full price if it was $40.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider it. Depends on where my backlog's at. I think it's worth it.
That like with Lost Legacy, because I'm an Uncharted fan. Like I love the series. I love Nathan Drake, but the Lost Legacy was a good game, but it was the length of it was not.
I do not believe that length has anything to do with the price if the quality is high.
And
there are games that are 6 hours long that I think would be worth $60 or that would be worth $40.
So I would say the average Uncharted game I would say is between 8.5 to 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Lost Legacy was about a 7.5.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that sounds about right.
I would not suspect that Miles Morales will suddenly be a 7.5 because I don't think they're changing the formula, and it's not like it's something that we're going to hate. I don't see this as being something that they're going to put less work into. In fact, they might put more work into this, because if you fuck up the first person of color superhero video game, that's not going to go over well. You better make sure that thing's polished.
You have a point. No, you have a point with that.
And if it's half price but half the content, then that makes sense. Because Spider-Man would have released at $80, and for a $40 game, even if it's half the length or half the amount of side quests or whatever it may be, and I'm not saying it will be, but even if it is, I mean, technically speaking, that makes sense.
Actually, it's different because Uncharted is not an open world game where Spider-Man is.
Well, like
so
here,
there probably is going to be a lot more.
I'm looking at the average time to beat Marvel Spider-Man. So main story is 16.5 hours. Main plus extra is about 24.5. So it's anywhere between 16 to 24 hours, depending on how long you're playing. I would estimate Miles Morales will be somewhere in the 10 to 15 range with everything.
I'm thinking 15.
And if it's $20 cheaper, I'm cool with that. I think that's fair. If it's full price, we are taking shots at fucking Sony for that shit. Because if it's going to be that short and $60, that's bullshit. Because if you're going to charge the same price for less of the same thing, it'd be different if this is a whole new IP and it just happens to be 12 hours. That's subjective then. But if we already have precedence with Spider-Man, the original game, being 16 to 24 hours, and you're going to make me pay the full price for less, that's not cool. Even if the quality is even a little bit better, I'd say that's not right. You should be charging a little bit less.
Because that was the biggest issue people had with Resident Evil 3. The game itself is fucking awesome. But
the remake
length of it, Resident Evil 3, yeah.
I mean, I still make that argument that I've done on the show before, where it's like it wasn't that much shorter. It was like an hour shorter at most.
I think it's just that it's shorter compared to Resident Evil 2 by like over half.
And wasn't RE3 shorter normally? Wasn't 3 a shorter game anyway in the original?
I don't know.
Well, the only reason it was shorter is because with Resident Evil, allergies. With Resident Evil 2, you had 2 story modes. You had Chris and Claire. So it was about 20 hours worth of gameplay.
I'm talking the originals though, right?
Yeah, but still, I am going with that as well.
Let's see. Main story Resident Evil 2, 5.5 hours. Main plus extras 8.5. So that's that. We're talking
each of them, or
it's a blank thing. Like this isn't taking anything into perspective. This is straight up giving you main story 5.5, main plus extras 8.5.
So with Resident Evil 3, when I played it, I thought I finished it in one night.
Resident Evil 3. So apparently Resident Evil 3, the original, was 6.5 main story, 8 hours plus extras. So it's about the same, which means if one's a little bit shorter, it's not. I don't know. It depends. Again, I guess I'd have to play both games, but I don't personally think...
My only thing is that with this game, because when it's a solely campaign game with no additional multiplayer options or any like replayability, the price has to match the gameplay length.
I strongly disagree with that.
So you're okay if a game is like $90, for example, but the
90 Canadian, by the way. US people are being like, what the fuck am I paying $90 US for?
Yeah, $90 USD.
No, it's not.
C80, I mean.
God damn, Vish.
But if it's okay, but for example though, Adam, if a game is 6 hours in the campaign mode, and then that was it, like there's no replayability, there's no multiplayer, there's no like Easter eggs or extras to gain from replayability. Is it really worth that much though?
It depends on the quality.
But if the quality,
if we're talking a game of the year, yes, it's worth it. If the game is garbage, if the game is anything less than an 8 out of 10, then you can make a case for it. It's subjective in that manner. But again, like I'm talking like Miles Morales, for example, going back to that. If it's a shorter game and they charge full price, that game better be fucking twice as good as Spider-Man. That's all I'm saying. I think you can make a case for any game being any price if it's worth the money. Witcher 3 should be worth $150 when you really think about it.
Understood.
If we actually price games based on what we get, Destiny 2 should be $500. So,
$1 an hour.
Everything's subjective. So when I see people get mad about timing, my thing is, okay, my immediate question is, did you enjoy it? If you didn't, then we have a different conversation. But if you love the game, like I'm just straight up saying, like not counting you. If I ask a person and they say, I loved Resident Evil 2 and I loved Resident Evil 3 more, but I still don't like that I had to pay that much money for an hour less of gameplay, I'll call them out and say, then I don't think you actually love that game as much as you said you did. Because if you loved it more, you shouldn't care about how long it took you. I would love Horizon, the original game, if it was 10 hours, if it was 40. It wouldn't have mattered. The price didn't matter to me at that point because the game is that good. So I think if you're talking an average game, that's a whole nother ballpark. That's when we can start talking about price. It's the people that claim to be really passionate about it, but also expect these things to be 40 hours long all the time. It's like not every game can be that long because then you get into the conversation of too much filler. In the same vein that so many shows, TV shows, I mean, go more than 7 seasons and end up falling into that point where they should have just stopped. And now the value's not there. It's the same thing. You have to understand that not every game has to be long because you run the risk of too much fetch questing and extra cutscenes that don't mean anything and these extra side missions that don't actually contribute anything. Like you complained in Spider-Man Vish about the pigeon stuff. Like that side mission.
Well, it was also
So
like,
there's a
Chris
mixture.
and
You
I
got to
were
be
talking
careful about what you throw in.
Chris and I were discussing about Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, where there are some missions which really didn't affect the main story that much.
Do they affect them
And
at all?
was like,
That's my question. Do they affect them in any
not
way?
really. Not
No.
really.
Then it was probably filler
And they
because they
were-
wanted to pad the game out.
It was filler. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was filler.
but the thing is, they could have just put it in. Like, you learned stuff, I would say, but it was like kind of pointless almost. It was like
If you
this-
can
this-
take
this
it like,
could have been a side
and
mission.
and I mean take it as like anybody, not just lore nerds, like not just people that go deep. If you can take something from it, then it's worthy. If you don't, then it's filler. And everybody has a different calibration and a preference on how much filler they can take before it gets too much. Like Witcher 3, me and Chris can both say that there is filler in Witcher 3, but it doesn't take away because there's enough stuff on the side that keeps you back in.
All the filler is like quality, like it's actually engaging.
Well, if you
Like,
you could
it's
make
like
the
with,
argument that there is no filler because anything that they put in is quality.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't affect the main story, the side story itself gets you just engrossed like the main story does. It's crazy.
So there's so for example, there was this one mission. It was a main mission in Metal Gear Solid 5 where you had to assassinate a warlord in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have saved the warlord. Like, you could have tranked him and then killed the rest of the people. But essentially, it was like that mission never really made that much of an impact on the main story itself.
Then it's just filler.
Yeah.
There was
Some open world games suffer from that. That's the reality of them trying to make a game that's worth the money that they threw in. Because people also, again, this is our fault as gamers. We expect games to be long when they're open world. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that we've also caused too, because we had that expectation. So they try to do it. Unfortunately, like I said, with like TV shows going on too long, eventually there comes a point where you run out of good ideas, and eventually something you put in there is just not going to be as worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going all the way back, because we took a really long tangent there, Spider-Man, I think you can make a case of it being shorter because it may also lead to better content because what's going to be there is going to be very succinct and to the point. The problem that I might have is that if it's like definitely shorter, and I'm not talking like an hour, I'm talking like 5 hours, there better either be a really, really high bar that it clears on the original Spider-Man because that's a hard bar to clear, or they better drop that price because people are not going to accept that, and I probably won't accept it. I mean, we won't know at launch. Like, if we find out it's going to be a $60 game, and I'm talking US $60, we may not know how long it is. So we may think, oh, it's going to be like Spider-Man, and then we'll play it, and it's 10 hours long, and we'll be like, you could have knocked down $20, guys. Come on.
Yeah, like if it's going to be, we've already seen what they can do for that money and what game they create in the Spider-Man universe. For the same money, we expect the same quality.
Yeah.
If they're going to do the same formula and format of the original Spider-Man game, I don't see this game being less than 20 hours in my
Well, I mean, on
If you-
average, we're looking at 15 to 16. It just depends on how much side stuff you do, right?
Yeah.
So if it's similar, then I have no problem with being full price. If it's 75% of the value, then we have a problem. Because then it should be 75% of the price.
I'm pretty
So
sure that
I'm
they've
not-
said it's going to be smaller than the original Spider-Man game.
I think
So
it has
I'm
to be
not-
smaller because they haven't had as much time to work on it.
Like, with you guys, I'm not that familiar with the Miles Morales lore. Miles is pretty new, per se, in the lore of Spider-Man, as not like Peter Parker, because Peter Parker is like one of the iconic ones. Peter Parker, we all know. We say, who's Spider-Man? Peter Parker.
Who?
We say, who's Miles Morales? I don't know. Most people don't know who Miles Morales is.
If you know any little bit about Spider-Man, you've probably at least heard of Miles. I think Miles is one of those very few variants that actually people know. Most people should at least.
Because Miles is actually being promoted, and now especially since Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, I'm not sure the lore of Miles, of like which villains are like his main villains.
I don't think you have to go by his lore, because it's already its own universe. We saw that with, obviously now that Chris played it, we all know they take their own liberties. I don't think this has anything to do with lore. I think they're just going to write a new story.
No, but what I mean, Adam, is that with the lore, I mean, with Peter, his villains are Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, it's Eddie Brock.
But by that argument, you can just make them all villains for him too, because he's in the same universe, so they're all there. Like Miles is in the game, so there's no like alternate universe. They're all here, so that he can fight them now. Actually, the rumor and what people are talking about is that because of what happens at the end of Spider-Man, this game may be Peter going into retirement because he can't handle it right now, and Miles takes his place. So
which would actually be a great transition into Miles.
Like, that's what I mean. I don't think there has to be a drastic change. You can just do the same thing and just add a couple things in, just to add its own flair, because you can't just repeat everything. You obviously can't just repeat the entire thing.
In my personal opinion, I don't think they should follow the suit of Spider-Verse, where Peter Parker dies.
Why would they do that? That's my question. I don't think they do that.
They can make like 6 games out of it.
If you want my opinion, I think that Miles
the part of Miles's lore is that Peter actually died and Miles takes over as Spider-Man.
That's why I just said I don't think the lore is going to mean a thing in the games, because the games are completely its own thing. So what I think is probably, this is my honest bet. I think Miles Morales will be the side story between what will be Spider-Man 2, which will be a game where you get to play as both. I think you will be able to have both of them, and you can interact between the two. You might be able to switch between the two whenever, or it just might have different chapters where each of them are doing their own thing. Maybe even in 2 different places, for all we know.
Yeah.
Or it could be they may pull, while it was a complete train wreck of a game, they could pull the Resident Evil 6 mode, where you get to play as different characters in each story mode.
I would rather they stick to one stream. I wouldn't want them to try to mix it up, because they do just fine doing one thing at a time.
No, but what I mean is, like, for example...
No, I know what you mean. I don't want them to make slightly alterated versions. I just want to just do one thing, don't think about it. If we can switch between them at times, or if in the open world you can switch between them too, cool. But I would rather, if you have a story mission, it's that guy. Like, let that guy do it so you can keep the story what you want.
Should they do the Final Fantasy VII mode where you can switch between the 2 characters on the
No,
fly?
I don't think they'll be simultaneous. I think it'll be like, in the open world you can pick whoever, but as soon as you get into let's say you have to get into the certain grid for a story mission, it's guaranteed to be this person fighting. So that way you don't have to do different recordings of the same dialogue lines. You don't have to change the graphics up. You don't have to change superpowers. You don't have to worry about if this enemy has to have a certain mechanic against Peter and a certain mechanic against Miles. Just make it that guy fights that thing. This guy comes in this chapter and fights this thing. In the same way that Uncharted does some of their chapters, right? Where they kind of... Sorry, the way that Spider-Man did it, where MJ had her own levels and Peter had his own levels. Miles will have his own section, Peter would have his own section. That's what I would want, because I think that way it's a focus. You don't have to worry about extra coding.
That's a great idea.
I hope it is focused on Miles. Like, I mean, they're calling it Spider-Man Miles Morales, so I hope that they focus on him for like 75%, just like Peter Parker was 75%.
I would even hazard a guess that the intro will be just finishing off from the end of Spider-Man and carrying on into it. Like, Miles being like Peter just gives up. Miles is like, well, what am I gonna do? And then he like, there's crime happening. Peter just can't get himself to do it, and Miles goes, "Fuck it, I'll take the suit and go."
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll do.
But
either way, I'm actually very excited, because Spider-Man was a great game, and this is going to be just as great, just on a
for sure
better console.
So
I hate to do this. I know we had an intermission, but I'll be back.
Well, then don't. We're gonna have a talk about this after the stream. Because I don't know how many times I should be saying this. If you gotta go, just go.
Yeah, just go.
It's not elementary school. Teacher, do I gotta go to the bathroom? No, I'll let you pick the next thing, Chris, because I've gone on two things. We spent a lot of time on these two subjects. I wasn't expecting to go that long, but then again, what was I thinking?
I'm trying to think of what some of the other games were. What was the other exclusive?
I mean, we can start with Ratchet.
Yes, sorry, that's what it was. I was thinking Jack and Daxter. I don't know why. Ratchet looked like a shit ton of fun.
That to me, that game showed off what the SSD is going to actually cause. Like that.
Yeah.
Also going back to Horizon, I don't mean to cut you off. Horizon apparently, like the developer said, like the goal is that it's going to be so quick that even loading a save file is going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be fucking amazing.
To which I'm like, Grand Theft Auto 6's loading screens might only take 5 seconds, guys.
Oh, yay.
Actually, sorry, that's too good. It'd probably still be like 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say. The Ratchet game I felt was the only one that did show off the SSD because there was a fair bit of gameplay and there was a lot happening in like you were pulling a rift of a different entire area. Normally that would have to load. Like you'd have to load that information onto your screen. And it actually showed it. Like it actually felt like an instant transition to a whole new area of a game. And I was very impressed by that. I don't think Ratchet's going to be like game of the year.
No, but it'll definitely be like a great showcase to give us a good heads up on what's coming.
Fun game in general. Like those games are just a shit ton of 3D platforming fun. So.
Well, in case in point, it's going to be a short game, but it's Ratchet and Clank is going to be meant to be more of a showcase, just to be like, okay, this is what the future is going to be looking like for the next 6 to 7 years, right? So,
yeah. So is it kind of like Luigi's Mansion? It's more of a graphics demo.
No. Luigi's Mansion is not even a graphics demo. What are you talking about?
No, it's like when it first came out on the GameCube, it was like kind of showing like, hey, this is what the GameCube can do. There wasn't a lot of depth into the game.
It wasn't that crazy. Also, it's Luigi. Who cares?
You have to care about Luigi.
No.
Come on.
No, fuck Luigi. We need a Waluigi game.
Yes, we do. Put him in Smash Brothers.
That's not going to happen. We got to have at least 17 more Fire Emblem characters in first.
No more Fire Emblem characters.
But anyways,
all of them.
Like legit, when we watched the Ratchet and Clank trailer, like we both thought, like, because we thought initially it was a cinematic, and then I said, no, I think they're actually switching between worlds in real time.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like we could not tell. I was fascinated by that we could not tell if it was gameplay or cinematic.
I'm convinced it was a mix. I think some of it was the gameplay camera, and then obviously we got what it actually looks like in the full gameplay, where you see yourself using like a hook shot almost to like pull yourself through a portal, and how quickly you move along the map like that.
Yeah, and it was crazy to load in that much of the environment and stuff. It's crazy. Like that actually is super quick, and there should be some slowdown, and there wasn't.
And again, you think about it. That's their first game of doing that. What do we get in 6 to 7 years at the tail end of that console's life cycle?
Ooh, man.
That's the other thing that becomes so much fun, because you look at what early PS4 games look like and think about where we got from there at the end of PS4.
Yeah. You know what I think is really going to show the power of the PS4? The next God of War.
I swear to God, I was sitting there being like, I have the button on the ban button if you were about to say Madden.
Oh, no. God of War, when that comes out, holy fuck, that's going to push the PS5 to its limit.
Especially now, because I think the style that they're doing fits. It like I never really liked the side scroll that they used to do like before, like the sort of like 3D-ish. Now with this, holy fuck yeah, you can push the power of that thing to the max. Same, I think that's what Horizon 2 is going to do as well.
No, I think Horizon 2 may be coming out too soon, in my opinion. But I think once God of War...
I would love for you to justify to me how this game is coming too soon.
So... I would say it started with Resident Evil. Oh, sorry, no, not Resident Evil. Metal Gear Solid 4. When it came on the PS3, I thought it came out too soon. I thought no, by all means, I absolutely loved it and thought it was a good gap between Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 4.
I don't take the opinion that anything can be released too soon anymore because I don't think we are having a graphical difference anymore. The game difference that we are going to see from now on has more to do with the ability to load things in rather than it will anything else. So I don't believe that Horizon 1 and Horizon 2 are going to be drastically different. So being too soon, I don't think
it doesn't look that different.
And I don't think it has to.
Itself.
I don't think it has to.
Yeah.
You even said so. You even said so yourself, Vish, several times on this show that you don't want it going that much further graphically. So why would it go that much further?
So it's
like I don't know how much like without it being like ultimately realistic. The ceiling is getting very very close.
Well, like I said, I think the absolute pinnacle and peak of graphics was Injustice 2.
And I still think we have room to grow, but like I said, like I don't think like you saying something comes out too early, I don't know if that applies anymore. I don't think that that's a word we can say unless the game is broken. That's when the early thing will come into play, but I don't think because of how it looks or how it plays can really apply anymore. Because I don't think
I understand what you're saying, but I mean like with a game like God of War, that's like a flagship title. And
what you're saying? Like I feel like we're having a battle where you're using your bias and throwing it at me because I'm just saying I don't think either are going to be any better than the other. I really don't feel like one's going to get pushed over the other. I don't think that graphically God of War is going to be double as good as Horizon. If it's better, it'll be so marginally you'd have to really look. I don't think we're at a point now that a game is going to be astonishingly better on the same console. I don't know if we can get to that point without it being like another breakthrough in tech. I think now it's just going to be like this game just got the ray tracing down better. Like that's probably about the difference we can see.
Yeah. And higher resolution. Because I'm sure like you guys played Horizon in 1080p, this will be 1440p or
yeah, it'll be at least that. I mean, I've seen shots of like you can actually zoom in the trailer and see like actually like the little bit of hairs on the bottom of her neck are actually like visible where they didn't used to be. So there are definitely little things
Aloy?
that yes.
Bottom of her neck.
Yeah, like the very like little tiny hints.
Very fine hairs.
Yeah, like the very fine hairs that like we all have.
Not a beard.
Okay.
Like I'm not talking. I'm not talking. She suddenly
what?
turned into a man. No.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking
I
like
think
Aloy is now Aaron.
like a girl's shaven leg is still going to have some level of hair. You just can't see it.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that Horizon does come out within like really really early with the console's launch. So we can get Horizon 3 on the same system by the end of the fucking
I like the way you
system.
think, sir.
Yeah, 'cause if you have a game come out at the very beginning, they have enough time to make another one on the same console without having to wait till the next console.
Unless you're Bethesda, in which case we might not even see Elder Scrolls 6 on these consoles.
Well, wait, we're not done buying Skyrim on multiple things. I don't even know why you're talking about the next Elder Scrolls.
So
Okay.
it seems like Horizon's going to come out in 2021.
I figure it'll be early 2021. Oh, the developers have straight up said 2021. My figure is that it'll be like early spring at the latest is my bet. That's my gut.
Horizon 3 will probably come out 2024.
Depends on what they want to do. It could be 2025, but it would definitely be within 2025, I would imagine. If you think the normal life cycles, maybe 2026 if they really want to push it back. I don't know.
Yep. And it's so for example, The Last of Us came out in 2013, where The Last of Us 2 is now coming out in 2020. So that's a 7-year gap.
Yeah, that's a big gap.
It's a pretty. It was at the point. It's like this was clearly a game designed to be a money grab.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
What? Sorry. What's a money grab?
The Last of Us 2.
Why would it be a money grab?
Because the way the game ended, it was like it didn't need a sequel.
That doesn't mean it's a money grab.
I think it's that the fans were probably clamoring for more of this.
I would imagine
fantastic-
the expectation for people is that any game that's a game of the year just should get a sequel. That's usually our expectations now.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Moving on anyway. Yeah, Ratchet looks cool. I mean, well, I guess we'll talk about a couple of small things, and then we'll talk about the console because, again, as per usual, we took longer than I thought we would. I don't know why I don't know better. Project Athia, which was basically showing off Square's oh my god, what's the name of that fucking engine?
Oh, the stuffing engine, the Luminous.
Thank you.
Luminous engine.
I don't know what to think of it, but again, it looked pretty.
I'm very excited for that.
Speaking of things that look
Because
pretty,
it's great.
Kenna Bridge of Spirits basically looks like a fucking Pixar game.
That was the other one I was thinking. Thank you.
Which game is this one?
That was the one that looked like a
Pixar-looking
Pixar
one.
movie. Kenna.
Oh yeah.
That looked amazing.
That's the game that I look at, that I would show people and be like, this is what we're capable of now. We could actually have like Toy Story the video game with Toy Story the graphics. So
Yeah.
it's possible. Demon Souls getting a remake, that's pretty cool if you're a Souls fan, especially because Demon Souls is one of the most notoriously hard ones out of all that series. So those fans will probably love getting completely destroyed by it. And then other than that, we saw a bunch of small stuff from other developers. We saw a little bit more of Ghostwire Tokyo, which looked really, really cool. We saw a little bit more of Deathloop, which looked really cool. We saw Stray, which I just saw cats and went, yes, please.
That's wearing a backpack. Wearing a backpack. Who put that backpack on that cat? Because that cat has no humans.
How do you know
So
the
that cat
how do you
has
know
to
the
be-
cat didn't put the backpack on itself?
Oh my god.
But
Futures
This cat don't need no human.
Is there going to be like substance to this game, like a story mode and like?
It'll probably be like a platformer, like an indie platformer kind of deal. That would be my guess.
No, but I'm just wondering if it's just like Cat Simulator.
I mean,
Goat
I'd play it.
Simulator, or-
I mean, I would play it too. I want to play that game. I think there's going to be some story because but it's going to probably like get revealed through.
I guarantee you,
gameplay.
it's like your classic indie sob story game. Like something sad will happen. It'll be like Wall-E with cats.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's gonna be Wall-E with cats. You heard it here, folks.
But yeah, for the most part, like
Wall-E.
game wise, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm almost curious about playing Gran Turismo 7 just because I want to. Because they said that the haptic feedback on the controller, you'll actually feel the difference between driving on smooth road, gravel, grass, all of that. You'll actually be able to feel it in the controller. To which I go, I normally don't care about racing games. I almost want to play it just to see what that feels like.
That sounds
Racing
awesome.
games are fun and they're like a good launch title because they really show off the system. and,
Yeah.
like the,
Well, racing games
they
kind of
do.
just exist just to show what the graphics are capable of.
that's the only reason they exist.
I believe Gran Turismo 3 was the launch title for the PS2.
Yes, it
am I
was.
correct?
I think you're right too.
Yeah. So
So, games aside, let's talk about the router, or the air conditioner, or the really, really, really big piece of abstract art. I don't really
Oh, dude,
care. Just shut up and take my
it's
fucking
a-
money.
it's a router.
I don't care what the fuck it is. Just take my goddamn money because I want it.
I think it looks awesome. I think it's a very unorthodox.
I've
design,
warmed up to it a
and-
lot in the last like 6 days. Like at
Pardon?
first, I was put off just because I guess none of us were expecting that kind of a look. We just figured, okay, what's the box gonna look like? And then we saw it be like, oh. Like if now I reacted to it again and be like, yeah, because I actually do like it now in retrospect. Now that I've had time to sit on it, I've seen different variations of it, different angles of it. I've seen people like really go to town on making interesting like design concepts for it, for like custom
and
designs.
memes.
No, I don't care about the memes. I'm talking like actually like legit designs. I've seen cool versions of like one that looks like an old PS2 version of the console, ones that are like anniversary collections. There were a couple that
Miles
I did
Morales.
like. There was a Spider-Man one that I'm like, that looks really gaudy and ugly as shit. So I think some people didn't do the best job.
One with Miles Morales, like the one where it was the black with a bit of red.
No, there was one that was like really gray and had like a little bit of weird design pattern to it. It looked strange. Like there's
Yeah, I like the Miles Morales one.
But the other thing, too, is that they said it's going to be infinitely customizable, which is a great sign, which makes me also wonder, okay,
Awesome.
make the controllers customizable, too, please.
Yes, that would be super
I
cool.
think it would probably need custom decals to make it customizable.
What I mean is, like,
Or-
Xbox can
but
let you
even-
make your own design, and they'll make the controller. Like, I want Sony to do that for us, too.
Yeah, like I have 2 custom Xbox controllers that I got and had built directly from Xbox. And it's super cool. Like just choosing the color of everything, like the D-pad's one color, the joysticks. That'd be really cool for
Yeah.
PlayStation to do the same thing because it's got the different areas and it would work so
I mean, don't
well.
get me wrong. I do like the white controller with the clear buttons for one. Like that actually looks really interesting. I like that idea. It really
I want to hear
pops.
something really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this. You know how all the PlayStation controllers have like a embossed grip on it.
Yeah, how
like
all the things have the PlayStation symbols on them, like they're
Yes,
embedded
there's
into it.
zeros,
Yeah, yeah.
X's, triangles, and squares.
Yeah, same with
I
the
was
side
like-
panel of the console. It's not just the controller; it's a side panel as well.
That is so amazing attention to detail that the way they
Well,
are
Lord knows we can do that shit now with the laser etching that we have these days.
exactly like with the coasters Chris gets from EGLX or Fan Expo. Like the shit that they can make with those is amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's just amazing. Huh. Oh my god, no, my headphones are breaking.
Ah, see, you
No,
should have bought the Sony calculator headphones.
these are Bose, and I've had them since 2015.
It's also sad because Bose is closing all their stores in Canada now, which is depressing.
Yeah, but they're not.
They don't need a store.
Yeah,
I don't know.
store-
I walked into the one outlet store and just went, I want all of these things, and I like that I can just stare at them and
an outlet
touch
store,
them.
yes, I would definitely be on board with that. But I mean, them having just a normal store like storefront, I don't know. I would just go to Best Buy to buy a Bose.
That is true.
Or Amazon. Like
Exactly.
their products
anyway.
are probably not hurt as their storefront.
But the more important thing, I think, is the interesting question of which one do we get, because I've been really torn between getting the PlayStation and getting the disc version and the digital version. I think this is the way that I've kind of looked at it right now. I'm 50-50 as of right now. The price is going to be what determines it for me.
Yeah, I'm
So
50-50 too.
So we've heard that the drive that they put the 4K Blu-ray drive is about $40 to $45 it costs them to put it in. So if the price of the digital version is $50 less, then I go 75 disc version, 25 digital. If the price suddenly goes 100, actually sorry, I got my math wrong. If it's only $50 cheaper to get the disc version, I'll just get the disc version. There's no point in spending $50 less at that point. But if it's $100 less, somehow even more, I don't think it'd be any more than that. Then it becomes 75 digital, 25 disc. And then the 25% is me just being like, but what if the thing I really want right now is full price on PS on the store, but it's $20 on Best Buy? Fuck. Like that's the only thing keeping me.
That would have to happen
That's
multiple
the,
times for you to make your money back
And
from
thankfully,
buying the disc version.
I don't
that is
plan
my
on getting the
biggest
console till
concern.
Horizon comes out, so I'll have a window to see what the PlayStation Store sales are like once the console is launched. So I'll have
So
at
that
least
is
like a
my,
6-month period to figure it out.
That is my biggest concern with the digital only system, is that eventually the digital games do become cheaper. And lately, most of the games I've been buying have been digital format, and which have been relatively historically cheaper. And PlayStation Store does have great
They do
sales.
really good sales.
Digital
So-
sales are the way to go.
Mhm.
The way that I look at it personally is that if you are buying the digital console because of discounts, you might want to wait. If you're buying the digital console, it's because you have the money and you know you don't care about disc. If you're buying the digital because of price, because you're trying to stay a little bit, like you're trying to keep your cash close to yourself, wait about a year, see where the sales are going. Because you don't want to, because none of the games that you're going to want to play on PS5 are going to go at a decent price for at least 6 months after they're out. So there's no point in you rushing it.
My biggest thing is, though, with the discless system, there is no backwards compatibility.
Yes, there is.
But you can't use. There's no disk drive.
If you
To
own
put
it
your
digitally, it has backwards.
But What about the physically?
Then that's your
That's gone.
that's your fucking problem,
Yeah,
because that's your choice at that point.
I know.
There is backwards compatibility, so you can, if you have PS4 digital copies, it should transfer, or at least the vast majority of them will. Because from what PlayStation said is that if you are a developer, a publisher, whoever it may be, if you want to get the upgrade, we will give you the money to support that. It's there to, so they're not forcing anybody to make the coding for their game compatible for PS5.
Yeah.
So it'll be up to the publisher. So most games, I would imagine, especially if Sony's like offering that olive branch, I think most games will, like, especially the big ones, like random fucking indie games, I don't know if you'll see as much, but any AAA game, I would almost be certain in saying that they'll be compatible.
I think the indie game scene actually will jump on that a lot, because as an indie game developer, you want your game on every system, like as many as possible. So you want to be part, especially of that initial launch, because when people buy a new system and there's only like 15 new games on it, people want to buy games. So they might go to the store and, buy some indie games that are, even though they're older, they don't own them yet and they want to buy them now. Right?
So like, you do the math.
I think
like,
a lot of it.
you could probably make a case that minimum 75% of all games available on PS4 should be backwards compatible within a certain amount of time, by the time that they take the time to readjust the games. Like, I'm not saying at launch 75% of all PS4 games will be ready to go. It'll probably be a slow grandfathering them all in about a year's time, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. And the thing to keep in mind with the disc version, for anybody who, like me, I don't have a PS4, so I have no discs and all that going into it. Yes, sometimes the disc versions do go on sale, but keep in mind, say the digital only is $100 less. And every time you go to buy a disc game, it's like, oh, it's $20 cheaper at Best Buy during Black Friday than it is as the digital version. Like, Adam, you were saying this. Like, you might need to get the disc version because it's on sale and digitally it's not. In order for you to break even, you have to find 5 games that you saved at least $20 on each to go disc.
Yeah, I mean, you will eventually make your money back, but like, are you going to fuss that hard?
Yeah.
It really just comes down to, I think, it really just comes down to, do you want to have the physical copy? And I'm kind of on the fence, because most of the games I buy these days, I'd say it's probably 75% digital. And it's not because I don't want the physical copies, I just don't like going into storefronts and dealing with people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about behind the counter, or customers that are being fucking assholes in the store. Yeah. Like, it's nice not having to deal with that shit.
Yeah. See, for me... oh, sorry, go ahead.
All I was going to say is, like, I've seen the trend now that people are trying to live a more minimalist life, like having less clutter, less space, and that's why the digital is such a great option.
I mean,
sorry, dude, go ahead.
The surveys that I've seen so far seem to suggest that it's probably a third of the population that buy the console will probably get the digital version. That's about the rough estimates that it seems to be.
I think when it comes to game sales, and they're available both, it's almost split 50-50 right down the middle, whether somebody goes to buy the digital or disc version. But when it comes to me personally, I haven't bought a physical copy of a game since like 2012 or something crazy. Like, it's been a really, really long time. So for me, digital is always how I go. The thing is that's because, say, you buy on PC with Steam, first, digital is the only option. Even if you go to buy a freaking disc for a PC game, it comes with a Steam key and the disc. The disc is just the installation of the game. You still need to activate it on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, PC gaming at this point is all digital.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, though, when I buy a game on Steam, it's kind of like, I don't plan on ever getting rid of this game. I'm going to buy it, and I know I'm always going to have it. For me, with the PS5, it's what happens at the end of the life cycle. Will I want to get a PS6? I will. Yes, spoiler alert. And then, will the digital move over? Or am I going to just be rebuying games on PC when they release? And that's how I'll do my backwards compatibility when it's, 15 years from now and Chrono Trigger 3, because it's coming, releases.
Yeah, that's really optimistic of you.
Yeah, and it's like, I had the PS5 version, but it's not on PS6. That's okay, it's on PC now. I can rebuy it there. It'll be cheap. So do I just rely on PC to be my backwards compatibility machine and rebuy games?
I think PlayStation 5 generation is going to be it for physical media.
I still disagree with that.
I
still fundamentally disagree because I think the larger population is not going to be cool with that because we have become so accustomed to it. PC gamers, because the way the storefront was working, they were kind of just forced into it. I think there will be a large outcry if the first console ever comes out that says no discs.
Yeah.
The only way that physical media in gaming will go away is if the entire entertainment industry goes away from physical media. If CDs stop existing, if DVDs stop existing, if books stop existing, if all of that stops, then I think we can talk that trend. I don't think gaming is wanting to go that far. I think the ability, like I've said this before, I think there is no problem with having both. There's nothing wrong with both.
I think both is the
I
correct
refuse to let the industry choose between one or the other now. I think you need to provide options because there is never an issue with options.
I understand what you're saying fully,
but
I am looking at it more of a business.
I don't care. No, that's not good. No, I'm going to call you on that shit. That's not good business. If you're it's not good business. It's not good business.
Companies don't give a fuck what's good business.
Well, then they're going to give a shit when most people don't buy the fucking games, Vish.
And what makes them the most money.
Vish, if they don't buy their product, they'll care. That's what Xbox had, because when they tried to do that by not allowing you to do used games, everybody flocked to PlayStation. So if PlayStation 6 says we're not going to do discs, Xbox will turn around and say we will, and Xbox wins the war. That's how it will happen, because we do not accept that kind of change. That's too drastic.
I understand.
The only way it happens.
My only
like
thing
I said,
is also with the what else I forgot to mention with the discless PS4 with the digital only PS5 is that if you're selling the game digitally, there has to be a price cut for it because there is no physical copy of it. There's no manual. There's no cover. There's no disc.
There actually is. There already is.
Physical.
There already is. We don't pay tax when we buy a game digitally.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't pay taxes. So when you pay $69.99 for a game, you pay $69.99. You don't pay tax. Okay. So that's our discount right now.
I wasn't aware that it was a flat cost.
Yeah, no, you don't pay shit.
But the thing is that Sony or all digital people, they make more money from the digital sales.
And that's the thing. That's why they shouldn't fuck us over because they want that. They're like, I agree that they'll push us towards the digital one probably more because they know they make more money that way. But as soon as they decide they won't make the option available, there will be a massive outrage. And I'm not talking people on the internet getting mad because the console's not in black. I'm talking we will fucking move to Nintendo Switch. Or we will move to Xbox Series XXX.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's gonna be it for sure. Yeah, because one other part.
Xbox.
Yeah, just the box.
Fox News will finally be able to call it a sex box.
Yeah.
No, just a box. The box.
One thing for me with the PS5 is if I go digital only and then the PS6 comes out, I'm going to probably sell or trade in my PS5. And doing that digitally sucks because you have to wipe the system if you sell it to somebody else off of, Facebook Marketplace.
I mean, you would hope that everything's linked to your account, so it should transfer fine.
Yeah. But say there's also a bunch of games I don't want and I have them on disc, and it's like, well, I'm going to be getting the PS6 version, or I don't need this game anymore. You can trade in the discs to wherever or resell them. Where if you do digital, if you buy a game digitally, you lose the ability to resell it. Unless, of course, they do that thing where you can trade it back to the store for store credit, like the digital store.
I hope they do something like that soon too. Anyway, because I think digital gaming should have that option. Because if a game is something that you didn't end up liking and you have no way of getting any money back for it, I think that's an issue.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you can rent a digital movie for $5 or buy it for $20. Gaming could go that way where it's
granted, if PlayStation Now ends up being a lot better, then you can just get the streaming thing and try a lot of games that way.
Yeah, just skip ahead and go right to the
or even get the opportunity to download the game until you finish it and then have it as a Netflix model where you pay a monthly fee, get the game, and when you're done, delete it.
I don't know if they would go that far as make that the only option. Not to mention, I would never want an only streaming option, given the way that ISPs do not treat customers well.
Yeah.
I think right now with the pandemic and the way Netflix has been so profitable and strong and streaming services, I think they're gonna strongly look into a
Oh,
format.
they're gonna do a lot better. They're gonna really up it. But again, I just don't want this to be the only option. It's the same with digital.
Yeah.
I don't want one option because as soon as one option exists, you can never go back.
Yeah, Xbox is the best for this because when they have a first-party game come out, you can buy it digitally on disc, and it's on Xbox Game Pass. All of it day one, and even fucking PC.
My
on
hope
Steam.
too is that PlayStation now will start doing that format for PS5. I hope they take from Xbox Game Pass and realize they got to up their game there.
Yeah, that would be
You
amazing.
can play more games on the PlayStation Now service, but you aren't playing the most recent.
No.
That's the thing. If you want more games, PS Now's got it. But if you want new stuff, you go to Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully Sony steps that up too, and we may hear like there's a lot of apparently from what journalists are telling us, there's a fuck ton of stuff we don't know yet still.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure of it, and like they announced the biggest ones. Like I was not expecting Spider-Man to be a launch title.
I don't even think we've gotten all the big stuff. I think we've only gotten half. I think there's still at least one or two big launch titles we don't know about yet. Because you don't tip your entire hand right away.
Yeah, true. Especially like non-first party stuff.
I may not be saying like sequels. It may be new IP, like a really big Sony specific like studio IP.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
But I mean, like,
and they haven't even mentioned Madden for the PS5 yet, have they?
I feel like they have.
No, I think they mentioned it at the Xbox one and the Microsoft one, but not Madden, not PlayStation.
I am hovering over the mute for him right now. I am so tempted to click it.
I just realized tomorrow's EA Play, which is going to have like Star Wars. And stuff
oh
like
yeah,
that.
we are getting our Madden fix tomorrow, guys.
Fuck me, there's going to be so much Madden tomorrow.
It'll be so phenomenal.
No, I'm going to have to mute the Discord.
Fuck that.
Best game.
Anyways, I am excited for the PS5. Whether I get the digital or the disc, I'm 50-50.
Yeah,
the disc I can return. Like
the price is really going to tell me the answer. Like I said, if it's just $50, you might as well, like, even if it's just $50, even if you don't want to get the disc version, I would still suggest to any person, just get the disc version.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
If it's just $50,
games
you might as well
buy and play, but then trade in.
Well, even then, the disc version is gonna have the SSD in it.
Well, no, but as far as we know, it's not any different. I'm just saying, if the price range is literally just $50, you might as well just pony up the $50 and get the disc version. So at the very least, if there's a game that you're not sure of, just go buy it cheap for disc version, and then you can just sell it if you don't like it.
Yeah,
at least it gives you that option. Unless Sony comes out and beforehand and says, "Hey, the digital store will offer you like some sort of a resell ability." That's different. If they reveal that, then we have a case. Then there's a case to still go digital. But if we're still acting under the same things that we have right now, and it's just a $50 difference, fuck it. I'll just get the disc version, even though I don't necessarily, even if I only buy like one disc a year. Yeah. You might as well.
I'm in the exact same boat because for me, it's how much cheaper is it, and then how is backwards compatibility going to look? Do I really, maybe I get the disc version, so at the end of its cycle when I move to PS6, I can trade in my PS5 and all the discs of games I don't need anymore.
Not to mention, there might be a special edition of a game that you really want the swag for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're going to have any interest in buying special editions of stuff, you have to get the disc version, because otherwise, what's the point of buying it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, and then I'm definitely getting the disc version, especially for the backwards compatibility feature that's available for it, because that's the biggest thing right now.
I really thought about that purpose. I think because I'm keeping my PS4, it doesn't affect me, because I don't really care about playing Spider-Man on a PS5. I don't really care that much. It's not like I have to play this game on a new console, so it doesn't bother me that much. So I'd be okay with having a digital version, because I still have a way to play those older discs. Like Chris said too, it's really just going to come down to how much of a price difference is it. If it ends up being even more than $100 and by some crazy hook or crook thing, then holy shit, that's going to make my decision a lot harder to get the disc version.
Yeah, same. I would just take the hit and do digital only, and then when I trade in the system, I trade in the system. Or I'll do the So what, all the games I can't sell them to? Like, how much are some of these games really going to be worth at the end of the
Like, if it's
system's-
$150 difference, some craze like number, $150, even 200. Yeah, the amount of games you're gonna have to get extra deals on is gonna really need to tally up at that point.
Yeah. And trading in something like, if you have the Horizon disc now and you're going to trade it into somebody, yeah, you're getting like $10.
You're not
So you'd
getting
have to
that
have-
much.
Yeah, you're getting like $5, $10. Like, you'd have to have a lot of games you're going to trade in at the end of the cycle in order to make it worth it. And a lot of games don't even release on disc because they're indie games and stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
there's
So-
also that. It's gonna be interesting, and I mean, it's a console that now that we know a little bit more, and we still yet to see what it plays like on the inside, and all these other little features that they're gonna throw in there. Because we've been told by several different people that we ain't even seen the tip of the iceberg yet. And if that's to be true, like I said, we've been used to for a few generations now the graphical difference being not as like the big change is being graphical. This is not that. This generation is going to be amazing from a gamer standpoint. This has nothing to do with looking at it. It's going to be about everything being cleaner.
The difference between PS1 and PS2 was drastic. The difference between PS2 and PS3 was drastic. The difference between PS3 and PS4, not that much.
Was not drastic, but was still pretty visual.
It was noticeable, but definitely not as drastic.
This one, it is technically visible, but it's not the core feature. Like PS4 to PS5 is not at its core a graphical upgrade. It is every gaming is changing upgrade. Like video gaming as we know it is about to change. Kids that are going to grow up with this console are going to have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. Tell them to play the first Resident Evil game and they'll understand.
Tell them to just load Grand Theft Auto 3 on a PlayStation 2.
No.
Yeah, that was like coffee and come back time.
Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation will drive them fucking crazy.
I'm going to Google search game with the longest loading times.
Oh god,
Resident Evil 1 is the only one I can really think of like off the top of my head.
Yeah, like I think this generation we're finally going to focus on some other like it's always been about graphics. We're finally focusing on loading time, ray tracing, 4K, and hopefully 60 frames, which trust me, when like today I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online and I was playing with the settings to get it ready. I did a benchmark at 4K and it was running at 30 frames, and then I did 1080p where it was 60 frames. The difference of those frames is insane to like how gameplay is, like how much easier it is to actually play something. So we're finally focusing on not graphics and all the other things that makes games run better. We don't need the car that looks the best. We need the car now that runs well.
So I'm not finding anything old, so it tells me that, you know, most people didn't really pay too much attention to loading times until recently. But there are two games that crop up a fuck ton in all the things I'm looking at. GTA 5, especially on PS3, and Sonic and the Secret Rings.
What? Really?
Sonic 06, because it had legendarily long load times too.
That's true. Oddly enough, loading times never existed until discs, so it's not like Super Nintendo had loading times.
Yeah.
It's funny that we're talking about getting rid of loading times, that growing up as gamers, we didn't have loading times.
I mean, realistically, the longest loading time was waiting for our DSL internet to kick on.
The one game that I can legitimately think of that was an absolute nightmare to wait for and loading times was Resident Evil, because like you would open the door and then you would have to wait like 10 seconds.
Oh, dude, you have not played a Grand Theft Auto 5 on the oldest possible hardware. That's like minutes. It's minutes. On new hardware, it's still like minutes. It's horrible. For a game that came out in early 2010s, that's horrible.
Actually, you know what's another thing kids won't know about? One game on multiple discs.
Well, yeah, but that's not a thing we've been dealing with recently either.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
like
think
the things that are about to change in this generation.
We have. Red Dead Redemption 2.
That was an install disc. That's not the same thing.
That's okay.
See,
never
you're
mind
just
then.
wrong. You're just wrong.
I still haven't played a Red Dead.
But yeah, it
Redemption.
was it was so big it needed 2 discs. It needed an install disc and then a disc to play. Because it's just that big.
Yeah, it's over 100 gigs. Yeah. Fucking
There was a meme about it. It's like when I delete all my games for Red Dead Redemption, and it was a picture of Harry Osborn saying, "I have nothing left but Spider-Man."
I'm trying to think. Any last thoughts? Because, I mean, otherwise, I just hope. Actually, you know what? The price. We forgot about the
I was
price.
gonna say, what do you guys think is going to be the price?
So this is going to be our last argument, by the way. So let's please avoid tangents because we were already at almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
I think it'll definitely be over $100 Canadian.
Hot take, Vish. Vish with the hot takes.
Yeah.
So, from what I'm seeing lately, universally, they're saying about 500.
And we're talking US.
Yeah. 500 US. I could see that. I saw somebody who used to work.
Okay, Google.
Are you talking the old Xbox rep who said there's no way that fucking thing's over 500?
Yes. Yeah, the old Xbox rep.
Vishal,
And they said,
can you
"No way."
stop using Google on the fucking podcast? I am right here with a working laptop. I can research this shit.
So when I asked Google, it said that's about $679.
I could have
Canadian.
looked this up.
Yeah.
Or
And
you
it would
could have
just-
muted
it just
your
make
mic,
it-
you son of a bitch.
They would just make it $699 or $679. It would be wrong.
So
But yeah, straight up, one of the old like marketing reps for Xbox said there's no goddamn way they'll market that above $500. That would be suicide.
I think it would be suicide. Remember the backlash was PS3?
Yeah, PS3 was
one
$600 US when it launched.
Yeah.
Think about that for a
fuck,
second.
Are you kidding me?
Think about that.
Yeah,
What was
like
PS4? What was PS4 when it first launched?
$399, I believe.
$399 or US $399. Yeah.
The reason the PS3 was $599 was because of the Blu-ray player. That's exactly why it was.
Oh, but the thing is, though, that's the reason Blu-ray won that war.
Yes, but people did not accept that as a gamer thing.
No,
We were like,
600
I am not paying $600, or I guess in our case, it'd be $800 goddamn dollars.
Yeah. And so if PS5 goes over 500 US, that means it would be either 550 or 600 US again.
Yeah, people aren't gonna, and that's the other thing too. Xbox would immediately just be like, "All right, our console's $400." They at that point they don't care. At that point, it's like, "Fuck it, no, we need to win this war that badly. That fuck the cost we lose."
If when the prices get released for Xbox One X and PS5, if Switch is going to change their pricing,
No, they don't care. Nintendo doesn't care.
They're their own thing. They do like
I'll be straight with you. Nintendo is not in this war. Nintendo is on their own island. Nintendo is not looking at anything going on between Sony and Microsoft. Sony and Microsoft are the only two competing with each other. Nintendo does not have any part of this.
yeah. Even PC's not really a part of it anymore.
No.
Because even Microsoft and Sony's like, yeah, we'll put our stuff on PC after.
PC has their own crowd. Nintendo's kind of got their own crowd now. So Microsoft and Sony, they have the hardcore like console gamer market. That's what they're fighting over.
because with PC there's no set system. PC you can
It's
make it
not even
whatever
that.
the fuck
PC just has their own like class of people.
Yeah.
the master race.
I'm not even
Yeah.
talking that. I'm just talking like the kind of games they offer, the way that it's played, the system setup. All of that is their own crowd that they've built over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Nintendo used to be a part of the war. As soon as the Wii came out, I think they decided they didn't want any part in it anymore. They just wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to
they
carve
saw
out
they
their
wouldn't-
own audience.
I think
Yeah,
it
they
was
can't-
more the Wii U. It was just like
Well, no,
Yeah, we're
I
not
truly believe that the Wii
talking
is when they decided they wanted their own segment because they marketed to families. They marketed to the the most casual people.
That's
They
100%.
said, you know what? We don't want to
The
deal
Wii
with
was
this
so
bullshit with Sony and
contemporary with
Microsoft anymore. They
Xbox
want their own thing.
360
Sorry,
and
what?
PS3. With the Wii generation, that was still contemporary with PS3.
No,
and
it wasn't.
Xbox
The Wii U.
No.
The Wii was way underpowered.
You couldn't even get games that released on Xbox 360 on Wii.
Oh, I know that, but I mean like the release window. like for games and everything, it was still.
I don't think that had anything to do with the competition. I think they were literally just by happenstance running in tandem. I don't think the GameCube, I truly believe, is the last time they really tried to compete.
Yeah, and that's when because the GameCube did not sell well. And
not to mention, they don't even have to compete anymore. They own the handheld market. They don't need to compete with anything. They just realized, fuck it, we have the whole handheld market, so the Switch is now both. It's a console and a handheld. We own it. It's ours. Yeah. This is our market.
And actually, Dell Alienware is making a gaming PC with the Switch concept of,
and they will fail. They will not make a dent. I guarantee you, they will not make a dent.
If that thing is as expensive as it would cost to make, which is like $2,000, they won't. It would be. Don't get me wrong. I would love to fucking.
It will be
have
cool, but it will not sell well. Nintendo owns this market. You will have to. It's like somebody trying to challenge World of Warcraft for being an MMO. It's like you can't compete with them anymore. They own it.
They could compete, but they would have to take a price cut of $500 per cell.
They would be taking a price cut, and this would be a 10-year process.
Yeah, and even then, they probably still wouldn't outsell the Switch, because you still need Steam with the Steam library.
The only people right now that I think compete with Nintendo because they have the money to go that route is Amazon, and Amazon doesn't give enough of a fuck right now.
Yeah, they have one game coming out, an MMO that looks boring.
So like, nobody's touching Nintendo. So Nintendo's like, fuck you guys, we're just going to be on our own place. Microsoft and Sony are the only people in this generation fighting. That's it.
Yeah, and they're fighting like hard.
So that's why I don't think we'll see the prices for a long time. No. They're going to be standing off for as long as they can.
Yeah, because that's going to be the I think at this point the systems are
whoever goes first is going to have the more expensive console. I mean, Microsoft may have the cheaper one because they'll have the like lesser version of the Series X.
Yeah, they're gonna have the Series S. I think people are calling it, and Series X.
And it isn't like a digital version of the Series X. No, it's straight up a downgrade. It's like a slightly lesser version. So that will be the cheapest console. So that number will be the bottom. So we'll know what the bottom is with that. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with the number for that console just to see if Sony tips their hand.
Yeah, I think that would be smart. If I was Microsoft, that's what I'd do.
That's what I would do too.
Put out a price for the little one, the cheaper, shitty one,
and then let them come out with their big gun and see what they're charging.
So what is going to be the biggest? Well, there is some performance differences. Like I believe the introductory model won't do 4K 60 frames, will it?
For the Xbox, the introductory model? Yeah, no, it'll be 1080p or 1440.
I would suggest that not even every game on these new consoles is going to do 60 frames, because it sounds like some of these games aren't even going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think the cheaper
Maybe
Xbox
the
console,
first few years it won't.
Yeah,
because again, we still got to have a handle of the architecture, right? So
yeah, the Xbox, the cheaper one, that one.
I would imagine that one will be like 1440.
Yeah, it's going to be about 1440, and I think it's still like 10 times more powerful or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
than
but it won't be remotely close to any of the other consoles on that.
Yeah, because the other ones are like 10 times above.
Like if anything, it might be like a 75% power, right?
Yeah. So it really depends what you're buying it for.
I mean, if
it's
you
for families and stuff.
If you put a gun to my head and tell me and put money down on what the price of this thing is, I think it'll be $499 US unless Microsoft comes out first and says $499, in which case they'll come for $449.
Yeah. I think that
I would be shocked if it's $399. I would be unbelievably shocked if it's that low.
The lineups for it are gonna be fucking insane if it's $399.
I mean, hopefully they won't, because COVID should still be going on at that point.
Also true.
No, that's December. It should be tamed.
Ish, if you think COVID's gonna be done in December, oh boy.
Tamed, I said tamed.
In Florida, at this rate, no. Florida might be gone by December.
Florida doesn't count. Florida will probably
Florida does count.
Florida will buy a hazmat suit and go to Florida and buy my PS5 there then, because it sounds like no one will be alive.
That's good logic right there.
Florida will end up being castrated by then.
But I need Disney World, so don't lose.
Go to California.
No, that one sucks.
Yeah, I've been to both. The California one is definitely the weaker of the two.
Yeah, no, World is better. We have to keep it alive. If just the swamp area with Disney World lives, that's good enough.
But yeah, if I truly have a guess, I think it's either 450 or it's 500. It just really depends on who shoots first.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got anything else to add? Otherwise, I think we're done.
Oh, I've got nothing tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, you always have nothing.
I mean, it's been over 2.5 hours, so none of us have had nothing. That is just
Well, in the
wrong.
first half, Vish had nothing. We just kept talking about silly shit for about an hour.
That is true.
Oh, I thought I loved it. I saw some really cool shit. Saw some really awesome vintage style reboots almost, I would say, like of that style. And I think it's gonna be some nice nostalgic awesomeness that's gonna
It
come
is
back.
going to be an amazing couple of years. That's all I can say. The next like 24 months are going to be fucking unreal.
But frankly, I'm not even just saying this. I think they should look at bringing some of the arcade sports games back. 'Cause
We are
that
not
shit
going
was
into
fucking
sports.
Fun.
For fuck's sakes, we did this last week.
Yeah.
The arcade.
I'm making a
fun
fucking bingo card. I think I have to finally make a bingo card.
Yeah, arcade sports games that are not simulators.
Yes.
Any other things you want to bring back? You want to talk about how the nerds grew up, Vish?
What grew up?
You want to talk about how the nerds they got older? You want to bring that up now?
Yeah, we have, and we kind of have money now. Kind of.
Yeah. Anything else there, champ?
Let's make video games.
You want to go?
Again.
You want to put up the because I can't do it because I'm fucking double jointed. You want to put up the Spock thing and be like may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
All right, so this has been the Fuck Vishal podcast.
Then we have the episode title now, everyone.
That's every title though.
Yeah,
I have to be creative.
I feel like there's 3 or 4 episodes that are already named that.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this first stream. Thankfully, the stream held up. I mean, I didn't fucking unmute myself the first time, so there was that. But
And I really like my new office. It's such a nice office.
yeah, look at you trying to look all like fucking wealthy over there, you son of a bitch.
I just moved slightly into the other corner of my garden.
Po buddies, Nerfic.
No. Just say you moved
I moved.
10 feet.
Not even, no, way less than 10 feet.
Alex grounded him and gave him only one small corner of the
She said, "Go to your corner."
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I guess I'll do a podcast.
Yeah, it's a
Without
great
video games.
So
Fine,
yeah,
go talk about video games with my friends.
that's gonna do it for the VCR podcast. So for the nobody watching on Twitch, we are gonna be hopefully doing this every Wednesday at 8 from now on. That's the plan. So if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to this on an audio platform, on the CS Radical Twitch channel, we are going to be streaming every Wednesday now, unless shit happens. That you never know. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some gameplay. I'm probably going to start streaming that from now on as well. So there will be that as well. I think we're doing GTA tomorrow, so that's going to be some fun. So anyways, if you are watching this on YouTube, obviously like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. If you are watching this on, or sorry, I guess not Twitch because that doesn't exist at this point. If you're listening to this on any audio service, please give us a 5-star rating if you can. Give us some sort of a rating there. Share with all your friends, whether it's in video or audio form. And like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, in the description, we have our link to the Discord. Come down and just shoot the shit with us. We don't post a lot of memes and talk about Madden all the time. We swear.
We only talk about Adam just to drive talk about Madden just to drive Adam insane.
You don't just talk about Madden to drive me nuts. You just talk to drive me nuts. That's what happens.
Yes, that is true.
Madden, Adam, Atticusane.
Yes.
That's my new thing.
Works for me. But yeah, otherwise than that, like all the stuff's on the graphic overlay here if you're watching the video version. So that's gonna do for this episode. So with that being said, guys,
Here.
I mean, you're like way over to the left of it, so you're in limbo. Yes, there you go. Perfect.
You're left.
Sooner or later, you guys are gonna remember the directions.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
Chris is there for me, and Adam is there for me.
Yeah, and I'm a bottom bitch on this thing, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be completely different on our screens.
So with that being said, guys, for the 10,000th time, because again, ending the show is like our forte, guys. You know. Thank you so much for checking us out on this edition.
Forte.
Speaking of things that are his forte, interrupting me when I try to fucking end the show. So you know what? Views Vishal, you are muted. Yes! I did it! So it's done.
This is my favorite part of today.
So that's going to do it for the VCR podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for checking us out, and we will see you next week, and hopefully tomorrow if you join us on the Twitch channel. So we'll see you guys then. Take it easy, everybody.